What is up, everybody? This is Podcast Gameoverse, episode 051 for Saturday, November 21st. I am Wasabi Ice Cream, joined, as always, by Rick. You know what I realized, man, is that it's weird, Wasabi and Rick. Do you have, an online handle?
So I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking about this too. So my online handle for everything's always been like Rick or Ricky. For my Xbox, Rick was already taken, so I went with Tiny Rick for a Rick and Morty reference. But I
Okay.
was thinking my Twitch handle is Retrobyte when I was still doing that. So that
Oh,
might not
yeah.
be a bad idea to change it to Retrobyte.
Yeah, that's a dope name. I remember
Yeah.
a good one I saw was DJ Octobit.
I love that. That is a great online handle.
That was from like a web, like it was a Halo web show, like I don't know, like a decade ago, where it was like a talk show. They brought in like the devs of Halo. They brought in Marty O'Donnell, and then they would interview people inside the game, like a machinima.
That
And
is
then
cool. That's
they
actually
had
really neat. I've never heard of that.
it was called This Spartan Life. I don't think they're doing it anymore, but it was really cool, like back then, because no one else was doing stuff like that. And then, yeah, they had a DJ. His name was DJ Octobit.
I love that. I love that. I'm gonna look this up when we're done with the show now because that sounds cool.
Yeah, actually, I haven't seen it in a while. I wonder. Yeah, I could want to try to check it out myself. But
Let's
yeah,
pull it up right now. Fuck it. Not like
all
we have
right.
a show to do or anything.
Let's see. Let's check it.
That's Spartan life.
This Spartan Life. Yeah, I don't know what made me. Oh, it has a Wikipedia entry and everything. It's on YouTube.
Damn, look at that.
Yeah, they brought in like the host name was Damien Lassa Damien.
The second episode or the second video that popped up when I typed in this Spartan life on YouTube was an interview with Todd McFarlane.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
holy shit.
they had some good guests on, man. They had Marty O'Donnell on and talked about the music. Um,
God, they have like camera work and everything. This is like a legit like
yeah, yeah,
machinima.
yeah. They it was incredible, man.
That is really cool. Oh, their last upload was like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
I
these
mean, I don't
guys are.
know, man. They could probably do it again, dude. Like Halo's back, man. It's back on PC. Like,
Yeah,
probably do it again.
I mean they're probably on to bigger and better things, but um, I don't know. This kind of stuff was very much a time and a place. Well, like Nvidia showed off that like machinima stuff for like
Yeah.
GeForce. I wonder if that's something that could be used for like stuff like this.
I don't see why not, man. Like, that'd be cool as hell to see that come back. I remember, Rooster Teeth is like the big one that people remember when they think about like, Halo Machinima. But I remember like this. John CJG, his RB and the Chief show was really good. I watched the shit out of that when I was like 15, 16.
Yeah, I remember
Ah, man.
Portal on G4 TV was like a EverQuest one. Is that what it was?
Oh,
I
I
never
remember that.
I never watched much of it, but
I've
um
never seen it either, but someone was like a friend was describing it to me. They're like, oh, it's like a show on TV, but like it's in a video game. And I was like, what game? EverQuest. And I was like, oh, I'll pass, but thank you.
yeah. I wonder, man, it's crazy. I don't think about machinima much anymore. Like not the site machinima, just the like
The art style.
concept of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a dead art, man. But like we're in such a better place now for it. But it
Yeah, it's
just
weird
seems
no one's
to,
like trying to bring it back.
yeah,
I mean, you could argue Rooster Teeth is still kind of doing it, but they have their own in-house animation team that does everything. Like hardly any of their scenes are like actual like in engine anymore.
yeah,
Most of it's just animated assets, which is fine. Like it's better production value, but someone should bring this back. We'll talk about this after the show. I think I want to bring this back. This might be like the fun little like project we can do.
But yeah, I had no plans to talk about this. I was just reminiscing on stuff.
That's fine, man. This happens. That happens sometimes. We do have quite a bit to go over. As you guys know, we do this show live. So if you
Yes.
want to chime in, say some shit, tell me to kill myself. You can
LOL.
do it right here live with us.
Twitch.tv/Gameoverse
Yep. Twitch.tv/Gameoverse.
or Gameoverse.com/Twitch, Gameoverse.com/podcast. Leave us an email there. We will read your emails live. So just know that. Yeah, dude. I played some video games. Actually, I only played one. Dude, that marathon stream I did didn't like hit me until this week, like last week.
Oh yeah.
Like it didn't. It's like I got smacked last week with just like fatigue and like my eyes. I couldn't keep my eyes open. It was a rough week for me.
Yeah, that happens, man. People don't think about like, oh, I could stay up all night and then sleep it the next day. Like, nah, it's gonna take you like a week to like get your shit back together.
Yeah. So I only played one game and only played it for like 2 or 3 hours. And that was Bugsnax.
I did see the Bugsnax stream. It looks really good. It's getting a lot of attention online. Like I was expecting it to be like, a talked about game.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny that games like, the PS5 launching, games like, Miles Morales coming out, the new Assassin's Creed, Bugsnax is getting like a lot of attention too, and that warms my heart, man. I love that shit.
Yeah. It's because this game, all those other games were like known quantities, but this game came out and from the start it was like, what the fuck is that? And even when going into it, I was like expecting one thing, and then once you start playing, you're like, oh, this is like completely different. Like I expected more of a like a Viva Pinata out of it, but what you actually get is like a Pokemon Snap, but it's not on rails. So it's the whole premise.
I am so glad you brought that up because like the whole time I was watching gameplay of it, I was like, this would be great as like a Pokemon Snap like idea.
Yeah.
Like an open world Pokemon Snap game. Like that'd be perfect for this.
Yeah.
Nintendo, get on that.
And then there's like a story. Like the whole point is like there's like a town that everyone went to like be with the Bugsnax and eat them and just live in like this paradise of Bugsnax, which is like they're like Pokemon, but you eat them. And they're like a delicacy. And but for some reason there's like an internal struggle, conflict in the town with all the townspeople just kind of just hate each other. And Lisbeth, the mayor, she like leaves to go. She was the one that went out and gathered the Bugsnax, and she ends up missing for a while, and everyone just has it with each other, and they all leave. And so part of the game is trying to get everyone to come back to the town, and then you do that by doing tasks for them, which is like, hey, catch this thing and feed it to me. And then the catching of the Bugsnax is like they're each like their own puzzle, because you know how in like Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, you got to find out how to take the best picture, and some Pokemon only come out when you do certain things. That's exactly how this is. You can see in the video now, I have to the hamburger. By the way, they all have like awesome names. Like that one's a Shishka bug. There's a Frider.
Yes, I fucking love the names in Bugsnax, dude. Like that is some A+ pun game. and I love it. I love it so much.
But you get a slingshot that's kind of like on Pokemon Snap, you throw the apples, you throw the gas bombs. You get a
Mhm.
slingshot here, and then you get different flavors that you can sling out, like ketchup and hot sauce. And so different creatures like different stuff and react to different stuff. So like there was one that was like a popcorn kernel, and they're like super fast. So what you have to do is there's like a jalapeno. So what you do is you throw the jalapeno hates hot sauce. So you put hot sauce on the popcorn kernel, and the jalapenos like gets pissed off, and he throws fire at the popcorn kernel, and then that makes it pop. And then when it pops,
Oh,
it gets really slow, and then you can catch it easy. So it's stuff like that that you kind of have to like mix and match stuff and kind of play with different things and see how everything works. It's really cool.
yeah, I like that. And I was reading a lot of reviews, and you playing it, the game didn't tell you like most of that stuff.
Yeah,
Like so people that don't chime in like, hey, this guy doesn't like hot sauce. Maybe try pouring hot sauce on the popcorn so that he attacks it and you can get a picture or you can catch it.
yeah.
Like
But
you
I
just
didn't even
put it
figure that
together.
out. Like I kind of just stumbled onto it because you just mess around with different stuff, and you're like, okay, how can I catch this thing? Well, there's hot sauce plants here. I guess I should fling some hot sauce, and like you kind of just mess around, and things just kind of happen. Like you get a trap box that you have to set a trap and then sling them in the trap. Uh, but when you throw that out, that jalapeno guy, like the trap's made out of wood. So what he does is he throws his fire at the trap and it burns your trap. So you're like, oh, I can't catch this guy. Like the jalapeno is too close to this kernel, the popcorn guy. So I can't just sling him in my trap normally. Like, and then when you get close to him, he runs away. So it's like, okay, what can I do that I can catch him from far away or
Mhm.
make it easier? So you kind of just play around with things, and it's a puzzle like that. It has like different levels to it.
I really like that. That's probably gonna be when I do decide to sit down and buy a PS5. I think
Yeah,
that might be like a big day one buy for me. Or actually, when I fix my computer, because it's on PC now, so I don't have to wait for a PS5.
yeah. So that's one half of the game. The
Yeah.
other half of the game is that the whole reason you're there is because you're a journalist,
Hmm.
and the mayor invited you to like interview people about Bugsnax, and write a whole thing about Bugsnax. Uh, but like I said, there's this like conflict in the town where everyone hates each other. So the other half is like talking to everyone and like just meeting all the fucking characters. The voice acting in this game is incredible. They have like incredibly good voice talent. Um, like I don't recognize all the voices, but there's one I do recognize. John DiMaggio was in there.
Yeah.
Um, he's one I do recognize, and like I don't know, the voice acting is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um,
I've seen a couple clips from it. John DiMaggio is really funny in it. Those of you
but
who don't know, John DiMaggio is like Bender from Futurama, Marcus
yeah,
Phoenix from Gears of War.
yeah,
That dude's got Jake the dog from Adventure Time. He's done a bunch of shit, and he's
yeah.
great.
So the other half of the game is
Hmm.
like what the fuck is going on with these people? Like everyone's so just weird, and like there's a character who just like who sings everything. Uh, there's like a teen brat character who just talks like, "Gosh, you're a total loser, bummer." Like this guy here is like a country like wrangler cowboy type of guy. Like it's all different kinds of characters, and they all just interact with each other in hilarious ways. Um, and from what I understand, by the time you get to the end of this game, it completely shifts into this fucking crazy, like, dude, what the fuck is going on here type shit. Like, so like half of it is about the Bugsnax, and the other half is about
Those the
these
town
insane
people.
characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in playing more of it and seeing that fold out.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see it fold out too. When you play it, I'll definitely come in and watch because it is a really charming game.
Yeah.
And like charm goes, it's maybe hard to believe, but charm, little intricacies like that, like go very far with me. Like
Yeah.
funny little things like that, like character moments like that. I love that shit. So
Yeah,
That
from the
would be
sounds
really
of it,
cool.
it starts charming and then turns sinister. But
Oh
I don't
wow.
know. I have no idea. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing that.
I like can't get over these names, dude. Buffalo Locust is great. Cob Hopper.
Yeah,
Oh, there's a crapple. Just a
yeah,
crab
crab.
apple. Oh my
Yep,
god, that's great.
yep.
They could have just called it a crab apple, but no, they had to mix the names together. Daddy Cake Legs, these are fantastic. I am upset there's not like an enchilada tarantula in here because that's like perfect. Can
There
you
might be
imagine like an enchilada?
there is something like that. I do remember seeing one of the last things I saw was something like that.
There's a praying picantis, which is like a praying mantis made out of Mexican food. I love that. Like this is so God, like I just want to read through all of these. These are hilarious. I love
Yeah.
this game already, and I haven't even played it yet. I
And then
love
yeah,
it.
there's some Bugsnax that only come out at a certain time of day. There's a weather system, so some of them only come out during certain times of weather. Um, like there's times where you have to go to sleep and kind of try to get there at the right time. Like
Okay, I was
it's
about to ask, like, is the time like real time like Animal Crossing, or can it be
no,
manipulated? And you just answered my question.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, it's really good. I'm enjoying it, so I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to playing some more.
Yeah, I'll check it out for sure. When you're playing it, I'll watch you on the stream. I'll sit here and I could sit here and gush about how funny and charming this game is because I do love how charming it is.
Yeah, but yeah, so the first part of my playthrough is up on the YouTube, so gameoverse.com/YouTube, and that's up there. Other stuff up there, so you can check that out.
I haven't been playing too much, because my computer's broken, so I haven't been playing any of that. I was fucking almost done with Borderlands. Like
Oh
I was on the last mission with Flack, and I was like, I seriously had one more session, and I could have finished it, and then that shit happened. But I've been playing my Switch a lot, mainly Pokemon. I finally got into the Pokemon DLC. I'm going to admit, I take back what I said about this not being like a console Pokemon game
yeah,
with some caveats. With some caveats. The DLC adds so much to the game that it really does feel like a much bigger, like grander Pokemon game. And there's some really cool things in there. I don't want to spoil for people who haven't played it yet, but there's some really cool things in there. The Dynamaxing is used in full effect in the Crown Tundra expansion. It's a lot of fun. They added some new stuff in the Isle of Armor expansion that really make the game feel like a more modern RPG with some of the stuff you can do. But my caveat, the asterisk at the end of this, is you need to buy the DLC to make it feel like that. And I think that's fucked up. They should have at the that stuff. If that stuff had been in the game from the beginning, like keep it like a post game like unlock.
wait, what does it do exactly? That's like so.
So I don't want to spoil too much of it, but it's been out for a while now, so I'm not gonna. So the Isle of Armor is basically like this giant island you can explore, which is basically like a wild area. So wild areas in Pokemon Sword and Shield are these big, expansive, always changing areas. Like the weather can change in them, the day-night cycles change in them, and it's the only place you can actually control the camera to give you an idea of how big it is. Like it's a really
Oh,
big, it's a wild area, is what they call it. This is where you can fight Dynamax Pokemon. Um, where most of this is where most of like the RPG stuff like comes from. This is where Pokemon can chase you down and beat the shit out of you if they're a stronger level than you. Like this is where all that stuff happens. And Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra are both like giant wild areas. So you're constantly like exploring it, you're finding like Dynamax locations. But what's cool with the Island of Armor is that the whole mission is like this dojo and you're completing challenges for the dojo to move up in the ranks. And at the end of it, he gives you like a special Pokemon that you need to train up, and then you can take on the last challenge with them, which is like this like Bruce Lee Game of Death style like tower. And depending on the tower you choose, that Pokemon he gives you can evolve with a different type and different move set. Like there's a lot of cool stuff in there that I'm like, fuck, this is like really clever, and I wish that was like in the base game. Like the dojo itself, you can like upgrade it and make it like a central hub for you. You can put like a vending machine in it so you can buy like drinks and medicine cheap than you could at a store. There's like a item crafting system in it. I'm like, fuck, this should have been in like the base game, and that's just the first expansion.
Damn.
I just started playing the second one, and it has like a dungeon crawling like Dynamax mode you can go through with other people, where you fight Dynamax Pokemon with them, and you move through this cave, and you can choose which route in the cave you want to take and which Pokemon you're fighting. And they give you these cool bonuses if you can finish it without getting knocked out or losing. It's really, really cool. And I'm sitting here like, okay, this is what I wanted, like a game that changes enough and gives me enough to do that it feels like a different Pokemon game. But why'd I have to drop another $30 on the expansion to get that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the base game is kind of bog standard, and the expansions add so much to it. Like it's worth the $30 because of how much stuff you get from it. But at the same time, I'm like, this should have been in the base game. The fact that it wasn't in the base game like really upsets me, because I wouldn't have been as critical of it if that was there. Even if like I had to wait till I beat the game to unlock it, I wouldn't have been as critical. But now that I've played through the expansions, I'm like, this is actually like a really fun. This is slowly. I think this might be my favorite Pokemon game.
Wow.
But the problem is the game asks you to buy so much shit, because the expansion is one big one. If you're a classic Pokemon player like I am, you need to buy Pokemon Home to like bank all your Pokemon from your older games. Not just that, Pokemon Home isn't compatible with the 3DS, so you need to have the 3DS's Pokemon Bank to communicate with Pokemon Home. If you're doing the math here, that's $30 for the expansion, $15 for a year of Pokemon Home, $5 for a year of Pokemon Bank. Like the game's asking you to like drop dime just to transfer your Pokemon from your old generation to this new one, which most of them still don't transfer over. And it frustrates me because like if a lot of my complaints are still there, but the cool stuff they added rectified it a lot, and I'm conflicted in how I feel about this game. Like it's really good, and I still hold by that if you can get it, if you can somehow get the base game and the expansion for $60, like that combined does feel like a $60 game. But it's having that buy-in of having to do that and find a way to do that it's hard. Because if you bought the game like base price, $60 for the game, $30 for the expansion, that's $90. I don't think it's worth $90. But I do
Right.
think all that content's worth 60 for sure.
Oh shit. Maybe they'll get it right next time when they put out
Maybe.
the Sword and Shield W or whatever.
That's what I'm hoping on. And like after playing this, I'm like, if they just take this and like improve on it and keep all this content in the base game and use like expansions and stuff to give us like a lot of cool extra shit, like this would be awesome. And I'm excited to see where Pokemon goes from here. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with it. So again, I still hold by that if you get the game cheap, it's worth picking up. But I want to add the caveat: if you could somehow get the base game and the expansion for $60 combined, it's definitely worth the $60 at that point. Also, my Switch Joy Cons have been fucking up. I don't know what happened with my blue Joy-Con. Okay, I do know what happened. I think there's been a lot of times where I play Super Smash Brothers drunk with my family,
Okay.
and constantly I'm accidentally putting on that wrist strap. I'm putting it on backwards,
There's a wrist
and I
strap.
found yeah. So there's a wrist strap you can attach to the Joy-Con.
I don't think I've ever used that.
Oh, you don't have friends, that's why.
Yeah.
But no, you can attach that wrist strap to it. That gives it triggers, so you can hold the Joy-Con sideways and play it like a small controller. Problem is, if you're fucked up like I was, it's really easy to put it on backwards. And when you do that, it gets stuck. You have to rip it off. And
Oh,
that fucks up with the lock on the Joy-Con,
yeah.
because those locks are made of plastic. I don't know if you've seen them, but they're made of plastic.
Yeah.
So it got to this point where when I put the Joy-Con on my Switch, I could take it off without pushing the release button. and it was really hard to hold because it would randomly slip out of my hand, and it drove me crazy. So I went online, I bought this pack of metal locks, and I found a 10-minute YouTube video that showed me how to take it apart, swap the locks out, and now it's working like new.
Nice.
Like why Nintendo didn't make these locks metal when they first released them is beyond me, because it really does just make it so much better.
I
Like the
mean,
little snap like sounds chunkier. The weight still feels the same, so it doesn't fuck with that. And it's like it's metal, so it's not gonna wear out and like get all fucked up.
why
Like
Nintendo? I feel like you could write a novel about why Nintendo, like why Nintendo does what they do.
no, you're right. Like that fixes that issue. That it still doesn't fix the fact that my Switch doesn't have Bluetooth capability, which is fucking dumb.
Wait,
Um,
do they? None of them do, or yours
no, none of
doesn't?
them have Bluetooth. None of them have Bluetooth.
I've
Like
never
Bluetooth is
tried,
not a
so
thing with Nintendo.
no. Well, the doesn't the Pro controller?
Nope.
They do support. They're Bluetooth. I've used the Pro controller on my PC in Bluetooth, I think.
Not Bluetooth audio though. That's the
Oh,
problem. That's what I'm talking about. There's no support for Bluetooth audio like at all on the Switch. So if I want to use headphones with it, it's gonna have to be wired. And right now, there's not like a convenient way I know to use headphones like on my couch while I'm playing on my TV.
can't you use the Splatoon app?
Fuck you. I refuse to use that. I don't have to bust out my phone. So here's the thing that pisses me off.
Here we
All
go.
right, you started a fucking thing here. God forbid you have like a phone that you can hook this shit up to, because even though that only transfers like the voice audio, it doesn't transfer the game audio. So what? Do I need like another set of headphones to like hear my game? Or to just have my game come out of my TV so my teammates can hear my game? Like that's
Yeah.
fucked up.
Where there
Like
was a
what the
whole there's a whole
hell?
like breakout box. Isn't there like a whole breakout box where you plug it's a box where you plug the switch into the headphone jack on one side, and the other side you plug your phone in or like your headset or something or whatever the fuck it was, and then it connects to your phone, and then you can talk and then hear the game at the same time.
Yes, but you understand the fucking madness of having to deal with that, first off.
I
Second, I
understand.
have it. Second, I have an iPhone, dude. So imagine all that shit on top of the fucking dongles I need to buy that Apple puts out to make that shit work. No, fuck that. Just give me a wireless option. Why is that so hard? They do
Yeah.
sell like third party adapters you can plug into the headphone jack of your Switch, but you know that's a whole other thing I gotta buy, and I'm not ready to do that. It still doesn't support voice chat. If you want to use voice chat, you need to use your phone,
This
which
is why
I'd
I
rather just use Discord, honestly.
it's why I will never pay for that online service, dude. Um I will never pay for that.
It's not bad because of some of the other stuff you get with it. You know, like the free like SNES games and NES games. Like I think it's worth it
You
for
should just
that.
get that though. If I want that, I should just be able to buy Zelda 2. Not that anyone should, but I should just be able to buy Zelda 2 and then play Zelda 2. I shouldn't have to subscribe to a thing and get a bunch of shitty games and then the 3 games I actually want to play.
How many games on there are shitty? Have you looked at that subscription? Like, there's some pretty good games on there, and they're
There's pretty
constantly
good
adding to the
games on there,
library.
but look, there's good games on there, but let's be honest here. I'm only going to play like a few of them.
Yeah, I hear
And then
what you mean.
the other ones I'm going to play just because they're there, but
I hear what you mean. And the one time they do like release a standalone game, you know, they released a Fire Emblem for the first time in the US, and it's like, oh, $5. And if you have a Switch
yeah.
Online, it doesn't transfer. Like that pissed me off a little bit.
Do they can you play those games offline?
You could play them offline, but you need the subscription to access them.
See, that's fucking I would rather just buy them. Just if they're gonna take down ROM sites and all this shit, man, just sell me the game yourself and then let me buy the game and then let me play the game. Don't do this whole thing like it's this half-ass thing.
I think the system could work if it was more consistent. Because it's not expensive. It's like what, like $30 for like a year?
Something
Like
like
it's
that.
not expensive. And I got the family plan. So I think I only pay like $40 and it's good for like me, my wife, and my brother. Let me look it up actually.
I don't know. It's just I like more substance, and it's not just that. It's like the whole package, man. It's like oh, I can't back up my saves without subscribing to this shit, or
Which
you
that
know,
pisses me off too because
which
I
PS5
got into
does
an
now.
argument. Yes, and that's argued with. I've argued people with that because like PS4 only lets you back up if you had PlayStation Plus, but Steam lets you do it for free. So I don't see why like EA Origins lets you do it for free. Uplay lets you do it for free. So
I
I
think
don't see
Xbox
why like
does as
Nintendo can't.
well. I think Xbox
It just
does. I'm not sure.
if someone wants to fact check that and correct us in the
Yeah,
comments, do it
fact
now
check
because I'm
that.
not gonna look it up.
I know that their system is like you don't have to do anything. It just does it automatically. Like you don't have to ask it to back up your saves. It just does it, and then when you load the like another system, it automatically copies your save as well. Um,
Which reminds, I'm glad you brought that up because I did not tell my Switch to back up my Pokemon save. So I'm gonna do that right now
oof.
because I totally forgot to ask it to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Pokemon Sword does not support backup via Save Data Cloud Service. That's fantastic. Okay, why am I paying $30 like $30 a year
exactly.
though?
Exactly.
Oh, that kind of makes me mad, actually. Like I'm really mad now.
Yeah,
I take back what I said. Fuck Pokemon Sword, 0 out of 10.
I forgot that only some games support it. That's fucked up, man. Like that's bullshit.
It is bullshit. I'm like really mad now.
Yeah. Well, there's your Pokemon hour. If
It was more like a Nintendo hour, but
yeah, for a Pokemon like game and a Pokemon game, that's
and then
a
we
bad
and
Pokemon
then
game.
it devolved into bitching about Nintendo, which most conversations usually do.
Yeah,
I feel like I can't have a conversation about gaming without being like, but Nintendo though.
because they're like the
uh,
outlier, man. Like they do such stupid shit, but
and get away
still
with
fucking
it.
sell
And they get
out.
away
Like
with it.
I think they still are outselling even PS5 or like PS5. They're saying like record numbers, like Xbox saying record numbers, but then you look at Nintendo and it's like, yeah, but Nintendo is like doing like double that.
Yeah, it's like not even close.
And I'm like, who's still
Like
buying a Switch? Like, who doesn't have a Switch already? That's what I don't understand. Is like they're still doing fucking all these numbers. That thing's been out since 2017.
yeah, that's why I don't
Like,
know who's buying it now. Well, I mean, I could say like I know. I can't mention this because I know someone is getting a Switch for Christmas because a friend of ours like asked me if they would like it. So there
yeah,
are people out there who don't have one yet who are getting them.
I'm not saying people don't have them. I'm saying a lot of people should have a Switch by now to where the numbers should still be high, but like not 300,000 sold this week. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and you compare that to like what the PS5 numbers are doing and shit like that. I'm like,
Hmm.
no, you gotta like you gotta like compare these, and Nintendo's still the hotness,
Yeah,
and it just doesn't make
Switch is a
sense.
cool system, man. It's a good system. It's
It's a
just
good
Nintendo does
system.
stupid shit.
Yeah.
Nintendo does really stupid shit. But that's what I've been playing. Just a lot of Pokemon. So much Pokemon. I'm gonna boot up Astral Chain again one day because I never finished it, so I might play that again. So I have something to like, something different to go through.
Nice. You didn't
But
get that
that's my
Zelda?
opinion. No, not yet. I am gonna get it eventually. But first things first, fixing my computer.
Yeah.
Well, first things first, buying holiday presents and then fixing my computer. I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna end up upgrading it. I'll probably just start with the motherboard and tower and then work on like the graphics card later. Because fun fact, Cyberpunk put out their like PC recommended specs, and even with my like 1060, it's still like in their recommended specs to run at 1080p, which that's all my monitor can handle right now anyway. So I'll probably just stick with that graphics card for like another couple months
Yeah.
until the
When it's
20
just
start to drop down.
yeah.
But that's the boat I'm in. On some more gaming news though, our best friend of the channel, Jeff Keighley, is putting out. No, we're not friends with Jeff Keighley.
I
Could you
wish. He
imagine?
seems like a cool dude.
He does seem like a cool dude.
I'm sure he
You
talked
two,
to
you
us.
two, yeah, I think he talked to us too. You two have a lot in common. You're both just fucking sucking off Kojima any chance you get.
Hey man, he knows what I know. So
But we just got a word that Jeff Keighley had announced the nominations for the 2020 Game Awards, and there's quite a few to go over. We're not going to touch on all of them, but we are going to touch on quite a few. We'll have some opinions on them. Some you might agree with, some you might disagree with. Tell us what you think over in the comments, and then I'll ignore it because my opinion is right. But joking aside, let's talk the big one. Let's get the big one out of the way. Game of the year. That's
there's some
up.
huge upsets here, man.
Oh yeah, because so right now the nominees are Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades. Get used to that. Hades comes up a lot in these nominations.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing: New Horizons and Last of Us Part 2, because of course Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Now, what's your upset?
All right, Hamtaro in the chat says Bugsnax for Game of the Year. Ghost of Tsushima is a safe pick. Now, I've played all of these except Animal Crossing, but I know the weight. Animal Crossing was like right place, right time, dude.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, that is
absolutely.
like the definitive. If there was a definition of right place, right time, it would be Animal Crossing: New Horizons. Um, but like, dude, where is Ori?
There it is. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I didn't see Ori on there, and I'm like, oh, Wasabi's gonna bitch about
Where
this.
is Ori, dude? I mean, come on. Like that game is I mean, it's the best game of the year. I'm just gonna say that. Um
Again, dude, Doom came out this year. Like, how can you say that?
yeah, but okay, here's my thing about Doom Eternal. If we're just gonna talk about these. Doom Eternal is a good game, but
Great game.
not I don't think is as good as that first one. I feel like they really
Dude, how can you say that? It does
Eternal was
everything the first game did, but better, man. How can you say
no.
that?
It does everything the first game did, but more, and I don't think more is better in this case. Like I don't know, that game just kind of just got overwhelming to the point where just so much shit you're juggling, and I'm like, like it just I don't know, like I would have rather it just stuck to the basics and didn't give me like, oh, you got 4 tools for this, and then you can switch to there's 13 different things you can use here, and then you can use this, and this, and if you use a chainsaw and then the flamethrower, and you can switch your flamethrower over to this thing, and I was like, dude, it's a grappling hook on this thing, and then I was like, dude, it's just so much shit in that game where I'm just like, man, I just didn't. And then it felt a little long in the tooth to me, like it felt a little too long, and I don't know, I have not finished that game, and I don't know, I didn't feel the urge to finish either.
I have the totally opposite opinion from you. And let me start part one of my 3-part breakdown by saying you're a horrible person. But no, joking aside, I see the complaint that there's a lot of shit to juggle. But I like that. Like, I didn't have a hard time doing that. This is coming from someone who's diagnosed with ADD. I had
Yeah.
no problem juggling all that shit.
I mean, when you get
However,
it, like when you lock it in, it feels incredible. But
yes, it does.
I don't know, man. It just, I couldn't, it was too much most of the time for me.
Here's my argument against that. I will take what Doom Eternal did over the alternative, which is giving you like a dozen weapons and gadgets, and you only use like two of them.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like I loved Doom 2016, but my loadout mainly consisted of like the shotgun, the minigun, and I think I never really used grenades. And I just used a chainsaw, whatever,
yeah.
like
The grenades. Like I was
muzzle on
like,
ammo.
fucking always forget about the grenades, man. Like I don't know. It's I did definitely like not use a lot of tools just because it was like, what key was that again? Like, what button do I have to hit, or how do I switch to this again? Like, I don't know.
And I hear where you're coming from. Like that's not for everybody.
Yeah,
I'll agree. I'll agree with this. The game is not for everybody. But when that game jives with you, it fucking jives, dude. Like it's when the game feels good, it feels so good. It feels incredible, man. When everything's flowing so well, you're pulling out just the right tool at the right time. You're fucking up
yeah.
demons. It feels really good when to play through that. And it looks even cooler to see it happen.
Now here's the other thing. All right, what you're describing about Doom Eternal is you what what you get from Hades. Where now, okay,
Ooh,
so you didn't play Hades,
I
but
did not. It's on my list though. It's on my list.
I've played Hades, and what you're describing from Doom Eternal, where I felt like they fumbled, I feel like Hades fucking nails, man. Like the feel of that game, the combat of that game is just so tight, man. It is um like when they're talking about Hades, they're talking about that game is like a video game ass video game, man, but like to like the a millionth degree. Um like they were determined to like lock in a feel for how that combat worked, and they nailed it completely.
Okay, I'll have to check it out then, because you're not the first person to tell me that. Like I've had a lot of people tell me if you like Doom Eternal, you'll really like Hades,
Yeah.
and
And
it's because of the game feel it gives you.
if there was what like but here's where the but comes in. Um it's that game is like it feels like it does, and like I don't want to shit talk, but when I say this, I'm not saying that there's deficiencies in other places, but like there's a story there, and the story is very well intertwined with the roguelike systems that are there.
Yeah, like that.
Um
This is one thing I've heard is that the story of the game is you're trying to crawl out of hell, and every time like you get killed, you get pulled back down, and
yeah.
people remember that. They make reference to it. People you've beaten your first run through
Yeah. So
will
like
like be there to greet you when you die. Like it's like the constant starting over isn't a gameplay mechanic. It's integral to the story and the plot.
yeah, and even the dialogue. So you'll fight the same like bosses over and over, and they'll give you like a line of dialogue when you run into people, and but you never hear the same line of dialogue twice. I've never heard them say the same thing twice, even though I'm fighting the same. It's the same fight, but they always have something new to say. Um, and then that doing that like over and over again still progresses the story in a unique way. It's like really cool. The Super Giant, the soundtrack is incredible. Uh, the narration's incredible. The voice acting's incredible. The combat though is like where the combat is so much outshines everything else in the game that like I would say like I'm not gonna even say what I was gonna say, but it does combat so well that it kind of like makes everything else look bad in comparison, even though it's not at all
Yeah.
bad. But like the combat is where that game's like it just what I didn't get out of Doom Eternal, I got out of Hades. Is what I'm saying.
And I haven't played Hades, so I don't have an opinion on it yet, but that seems to be the consensus. So let's finish up with Game of the Year. There's just still on that. So
Well,
you're
these all show
feeling
up
for
multiple times, so
yeah.
um
Not a lot to go over with I mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake was good, but I don't think it's Game of the Year good. Especially like the same year you get games like Hades,
Yeah,
games like Doom Eternal,
it's very impressive
Ghost.
what they did with that game,
Yeah.
but you can tell where they like skimped out. Like there's no exploration at all. That game is a
hmm
straight fucking line.
hmm
The graphically they do some real good tricks to make things look good, but the only like they spent a lot of time on the characters and like no time on anything else. Everything else looks bad and the characters look good. And like
Yeah,
there's put a bunch of
I
like
remember seeing that.
they put a bunch of like magic effects on everything to like church it up, but it's not. Yeah, but the soundtrack phenomenal. That would probably get best soundtrack here. I'm thinking. Um, Ghost of Tsushima. I don't even know why it's on this list. That game is good, but it's so bog standard. Again, like it's that game and it's Horizon Zero Dawn, where I'm like you're kind of just giving it to this by default, huh? Because like, well, no, really, because like, look, it's a good game, but like we're picking straws here, and then that's like it's a good game, but you know how I don't see how people love Ghost of Tsushima and hate Assassin's Creed so vehemently when they're the same fucking game. It's the same like Horizon Zero Dawn. They love that game and hate Far Cry. It's the same fucking game, but you know whatever. It's a good game. Definitely not game of the year, but it's okay. Uh, Last of Us Part Two. I'm not gonna lie. I thoroughly enjoy that game.
Yeah, I think it
It
does a lot of
is
stuff right.
without question,
But
it is the utmost quality in every category. Not going to debate that. But um, when it comes like to the game that's there, I don't know if the game itself holds up.
yeah, I don't think like everything it does very well that it sets out to do. But the game that's in it, I mean, we talked about it a lot. If you go back, we had a whole podcast episode dedicated to talk about Last of Us Part Two, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of frustrating like gameplay choices they've made in it that really like I think bring the game down a little bit. And people argue, oh, that's the point though. It's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to send a message. It's a game, dude. Like you play games. Like I get the argument games should be more than just games, but I feel like there's better ways to do it by intertwining. Don't keep the gameplay and the story separate. The beauty of games, you can have them together. And I don't think Last of Us meshes that very well. Does that make sense?
yeah. And yeah, again, that game is just on here by default. I really feel like,
Yeah.
like the Sony games in particular, I feel like they get, I don't know, like those games put an extra coat of like, they put an extra coat of paint on those games to make them seem like they're more than they really are. When in reality, they're just like, the Uncharted's and the I don't know. They're not great games, but they're good experiences. If
Yeah,
I
and
don't
like
know.
Last of Us 2, perfect example. Like I made this reference that I'm probably never gonna play Last of Us 2 again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember that time I played through it, but I'm never gonna play it again.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a controversial opinion to say that. I think a lot of people aren't gonna play that game again. Again, it's
Um
not bad, but compared to like other games out there, like I had more fun playing like Doom Eternal this year than I did Last of Us. And at the end of the
the
day, shouldn't that be like the unit of measurement we measure our games from?
yeah. I mean there's different components and like if you take the individual components of The Last of Us, it outweighs everything else in the individual components uh mostly. Um but when you're talking about when it comes down to like the game, I never want to play that game again. Though, like, I never want to play the first game again, and that one like
Yeah,
stuck with me a lot more. Also, not my favorite game, but like
yeah,
it's memorable for different reasons. But yeah, so
yeah.
I didn't play Animal Crossing, so
It's okay. It's
yeah,
not my cup of tea.
yeah,
I can see the
that's what I'm
appeal, but it's
saying.
not my cup of tea.
This whole list is just fucking. I mean, Hades. It out of this list, it would be Hades, but I don't know why Ori's not on here. People are upset that Half Life Alex isn't on there.
I
Which
mean, you played Half-Life Alex. Is it like Game of the Year contender, really?
well, I didn't play it. I don't have VR
Oh, I thought
anymore.
you did. My
No,
bad.
yeah. So I would love to play it, but yeah, people were saying that that game is like one of the most incredible experiences ever, and I think the problem is that people are in the same boat as me, where it's like they just don't have the time or they don't have the tools right now, or they just it's just a hard game to play right now.
Yeah.
So it's
Just
probably
because
why it's
the
not.
hardware it's locked to, like that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Um, moving on, best game direction. Now, I've read best game direction over and over again. The exact description is awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. I mean, that can mean a lot of things. Like, do we the list is Final Fantasy VII remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alex, and Last of Us Part Two. Like, I want to go through this list really quick. Like, do you give it to Final Fantasy VII for kind of like bucking like the idea of being a one-to-one remake and kind of being a little meta and how it handles the idea of remakes? Do you give it to Hades for the way it intertwines like roguelike gameplay into a narrative and it actually tells a story? Do you give it to Half-Life Alex for the way it uses VR? Do you give it to Last of Us Part 2 for defying your expectations? Like, because all of those can be classified as like, a game direction, but to give an award to one of these seems kind of asinine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's this is a weird category because it doesn't really
Yeah,
there's just
it's not.
multiple things you could say about any of these really.
Yeah, you could even say like, oh, Tsushima like should get it because of the Kurosawa mode that they put into it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
exactly. When you're talking about like the creative vision, like that's a game that very much adheres to a very specific vision.
yeah.
Um so I don't know. Give it to Ori. If I had to pick like
That's what I
one out of
mean.
these, I would say Half Life Alex, which I think this is the only category that's nominated in. I think. Um,
I think it's in like narrative too. Is another one.
Suraj Panchal says no option for donation. Um, I don't think you're a real person, but if you are, uh, uh, nod. Give me a nod if you are, and then nod sideways if you're not. Um, but I don't know. I would say Half Life Alex here. Uh, I don't know. Even I didn't play it. I don't know. I would not be able to vote on this category because it's
Yeah,
just
it's
so
a
open
fucking
ended.
it's such a loaded question. Like I don't know
This
what.
is not the only category where it's like very open ended. So
Yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of fun with this one.
yeah.
Moving on, we have best narrative. Uh, nominations are 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, because of course, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and Last of Us Part 2, because of course. Again, the description for best narrative is for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. Again, do you give it to 13 Sentinels, which honestly it tells a story as like a visual novel, but the story's really good. It's very dense. There's a lot of story there to like. Do you give it to Final Fantasy VII Remake, which again, what I said about the game direction is how it bucks like remake trends and is kind of self-aware of the fact that it's a remake and puts that into the narrative. Do give it to Ghost of Tsushima.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't think that people aren't talking about the narrative when they talk about that game. They give it to Hades again because of the way it blends in the gameplay and the narrative so well, or do you give it to Last of Us Part Two for being so like shocking and different and surprising you with the next twists and turns and trying to, I wouldn't say succeeds, but trying to make you feel sympathetic for the villain, quote unquote. Like it's kind of a loaded question here, what to give it to, like what constitutes a good narrative out of these games.
Yeah, I out of this list, I would say Hades again.
Yeah.
Um, just because like everything that game does is just so well intertwined with everything else. I didn't play 13 Sentinels though, so I'm
I
not
haven't
sure.
played it either, but the story I've read about is really good.
Though I gotta
And
say, Final Fantasy VII remake is also very impressive, just because it's
yeah,
not just a straight copy paste of what that original game did. They put a lot
exactly.
of work into like developing those characters like out. That entire thing is very well fleshed out. Um,
Not just that, but like the stuff that wasn't in the original game, the stuff they put in here because it's a remake to kind of throw you off guard. But that stuff is really clever too. And I don't want to spoil the story, but
yeah,
the game's almost self-aware that it's a remake. And that's kind of woven into the narrative a little bit. That's the vaguest way I can describe it. But like exactly how do you rate that? Like it's a really cool thing that they did, but to throw this general umbrella term best narrative and have me pick between one of five games that all bring something to the table except for Ghost of Tsushima. That's pretty box standard. Let's be honest here. Um,
I don't know why that's in here,
yeah,
but
I don't know why it's in here either,
like
man.
again, that's like they just given it to that game by default, I guess, because I don't know.
See, I don't know
Um,
either. Didn't what was that game you were playing earlier? From the same Don't Nod. What was that game you were playing that
tell
was
me
on Game
why.
Pass? Remember that? Yeah, see, why isn't that on here? Like that, everyone talks about the narrative in that game. It broke
Yeah,
barriers for having the first like transgender main character in a video game. Like, why isn't that on here?
yeah. I don't. I mean, yeah, I would rather that than Ghost of Tsushima, but I also don't like. I don't know. When your game is just a narrative, it's um I don't know. It kind of breaks the like I don't know. It's when you categorize stuff like this, like best narrative, like it breaks because games are so much more like I don't know. I keep talking about Outer Wilds. Uh, if Outer Wilds will sweep every one of these categories because it's not just a story; it's a game that's interwoven with the story and the mechanics of the game and shit like that. That's what I want to see. I want to see narrative within the context of the gameplay. I want to see
same, same here. Same here.
like if you ever played Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons,
Yep.
that's a game
Yep.
where its mechanics and its story are the thing. Like they're interwoven together completely. You just don't see much of that. Like you can just write a good story and have a shitty game, but that's not what I want. I want things to mesh well. So I think
Exactly.
Hades comes the closest to that.
Yeah. And I feel like you're right. Like Hades is definitely based on what I've been told of it, what I know of it. It seems like it does the best job. And if we're talking like best story, like if it was a book or a movie, what would grab me the most? Maybe Last of Us Part Two, but it's not a book or a movie. It's not just a story. It's a game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, depending on what you're asking and how you're asking it, it's gonna be a toss up between Hades and Last of Us Two for me. Um, and here's another one: Best Art Direction for outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Okay, so like four games on here. Three games are on here because the graphics are good. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and Last of Us Part Two.
Hold on
But
though. Hold on though. like, okay, so yeah, you're right about that. But you can take off Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's just a game that's like pretty.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima though has a like it does have a theme and it adheres to that completely. Like it has a total vision overall, and it adheres to that, and it's a unique one too. So like I will give it credit for that.
But then, like Last of Us 2, like its art direction is photorealism, which it does well.
But not only that, I will probably give it to Last of Us 2 for this. I'm not gonna lie, because there is not.
And the two more games on the list here. I wanted because people aren't didn't hear the whole list.
Yeah.
Two more games on the list here are Hades and Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which Sabi was just talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's giving us Last of Us Part 2 surprises me, but let's hear your reasoning.
Because, dude, okay, look. We said it during our like spoiler cast of The Last of Us Part 2, which was the work that went into that game. You can fucking see it, okay? It's not like don't get it twisted, all right? It's not, like I said, the individual components of that game far exceed everything else in any other game. There's not a single another game on this planet, console or PC, that looks as good as The Last of Us Part 2. And I'm talking like the whole package, not just graphically, but animations. There's not a single fucking game that comes close to the level of quality of animation in that game. Like even like when like the gun porn where you go to a workbench and she like field strips her gun and like does all that shit. I'm like, dude, this looks incredible. When you take the ammo out of a gun that's like lying on the ground, the fucking the thing pops back. The I don't know what the fuck, I don't know gun terms, man. But you know, like the level of work that went into that stuff, you can tell just looking at it. It's just on a whole nother level, man. Like that is blood, sweat, and tears right there, and it shows. Like all this other stuff is good quality, like Will of the Wisps. Again, fucking love that game. All hand drawn animation, looks fucking beautiful. But like, you know, I've seen it. I've seen games do that before. Hades looks great, but like Last of Us, just there's not a single game that just looks as good as that or moves as good as it. Like it's that's another level. I wish PC games would hit that level of quality again, but no one's doing that.
I don't think anyone's getting the Sony money to pull that off either, though.
Yeah. So I don't know. That Last of Us to me is a shoe-in for this category. It like I don't.
Hearing what you have to say, like I agree with you now. Like I looked at it as just like
if we're talking,
does photorealism count as art direction? But hearing what you have to say, like
not so much the way it. I mean, yes, the way it looks, but technically, the technical achievement of that game is just a whole nother level. I mean, that's a different planet, man. There's nothing that touches that. Like on a technical level and just on like a visual level, like it's not unique in the way it looks, but it's unique in just the level of quality.
Yeah, the polish, the spit shine on it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Again, this is a category where you can go any direction, but I think that direction far exceeds everything else here. In my opinion. I don't know how.
Yeah. No, I hear what you mean. I agree with you. I hear what you mean. I agree with you now. Now that you made your point,
yeah,
I agree with where you're going with it. So yeah, I think that settles it. Last of Us Part 2, the best art direction. Honestly, I was leaning more towards Ori and just the way the graphical style, but when you look at like the sum of its parts, like everything that went into it, not just the photorealism, like you said, the animation, um, the
Yeah.
way the environment interacts off each other, like that is really
I mean,
impressive.
look, I fucking hate award shows because you're not like, first of all, it's a popularity contest. I mean, let's be
Yeah,
honest. And then the second thing is they're not really like honoring these games. If they were, they would tell you why they're nominated. They would give you like a little short clip or something that shows exactly why this is in this category.
yeah,
Um, because when you just look at a fucking not even a screenshot, it's just like a cover photo of the game. It's not even like there's nothing here that says this is why this is nominated. You're
yeah.
not really honoring anything. It's just I don't know. It's like a
Now, here's this next one that I wanted to go over. This is one I was kind of excited to talk about because I have a controversial opinion on this next subject here. Best score in music.
Final Fantasy. Move on.
So here's the thing: for outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and/or licensed soundtrack. I don't think licensed music should be categorized in it, but whatever. That's my opinion on
it
it.
could be like a use, like a unique use of a licensed song. Um, like I don't know, like when you're playing Saints Row, and not saying this is groundbreaking, but like you're in the car and then like the radio comes on and then they're like the characters like singing along to the Sublime soundtrack like that. I don't know. That's a moment, I guess, but
Now, now, if we're talking like just pure music,
yeah.
let me read the nominations first. We have Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Last of Us Part Two. If we want to talk about how the music is used, I will argue that Doom Eternal, with the way how the music changes with the gameplay. If you're kicking ass, the music changes with it. If you're getting your ass kicked, the music changes with it. If you're like on your last legs and like you barely manage to pull it around and heal yourself, the music will change to reflect that. Like that is intense. And the music does what it's supposed to do. It sits there and it builds you up and it makes you feel like a badass on top of the way everything else is playing, on top of when you're killing demons, you're shooting them, you're cutting them up, the music is there to back that up and enhance that feeling. So that's why for me it's going to be Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
But for you, why is it Final Fantasy VII Remake other than the songs are pretty?
Um yeah, I don't know. The songs are pretty. uh I don't know. I don't know. It's that and just I don't know the way it makes you feel. It just I don't know. Like I was not super huge into Final Fantasy VII, but I still got a nostalgic kick out of what they did in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Is that they remixed all those songs. Like they
Yeah,
totally redid all those songs. So and then they added like they put them in different genres. So like they have a jazzy version of one song, and then they'll have like an EDM version of another song, and then like a hip hop version of a different song. And it's like, oh wow, you didn't just go and just like remaster the music. You like went out and just redid the entirety of the entire soundtrack. Um, and like it nails it. Like it's like really fucking good. Uh,
okay.
yeah. So it had me diddy bop every time a thing would come on. I was like, dude, this shit slaps. Like if you go back and look at the chat logs, I don't know how many times I put the slaps emote, but like I was like, dude, this soundtrack is fucking incredible.
Okay. So I'll give you that then. I don't want to discredit you by saying the songs are pretty,
Yeah.
but that's something to consider. Like, and this is why I don't like award shows because what are we awarding here? Are we awarding the best use of music or just the best music? What justifies it? How well the song fits in with the narrative, or because the song's pretty, or like what is it? That's what drives me crazy. Um, but that settles it for us. So for me, it's Doom Eternal. For you, it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now here's the next one, which probably fits Doom Eternal better, but I still have some shit to talk about with this one.
Last of
Best
Us.
audio design.
Last of Us.
Well, hear me out now. Best audio design, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. You have Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, and Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us,
Now, if
easy.
we're talking audio design, again, you were just talking about how Ghost of Tsushima was able to create this feel, like it feels like a samurai movie, and it does that. The way the swords like hit across each other, the way
Sure.
you hear like blood and bone getting cut or cut bone and meat getting cut through when you slice somebody, that quick sound like you get. It's really good. The music, the way it complements it. But what defines like in-game audio and sound design? Because I could give it to Doom Eternal again for the way it uses music, or you can give it to Last of Us Part 2 because of how well it does use audio. And you can use in-game audio cues to track people down, to see where someone's coming from, or just listening to guys who are looking for you, how they talk to each other. Like that's phenomenal. Like it's crazy how well that game works. Like
Um,
I've used the game audio to like play through it, and it's a phenomenal experience. But again, how do you justify like what constitutes good audio design?
I'm not even talking about like. See, this is another one where it's like I don't like. Yeah, these games use audio and to accentuate what's happening in the gameplay. Sure, but that's what a game's supposed to do. The
Hmm.
Last of Us goes above and beyond, where it adds detail where you didn't fucking think, where you'd never noticed it before. So like, remember we were talking in the spoiler cast, the fucking breathing in that game is just
Yes.
fucking intense, man. Everyone's just heavy breathing all the time. And I'm like, I don't know, it just kept me on the edge of my seat where I'm like, dude, she's like breathing so hard. I'm like, I'm breathing hard because she's breathing hard. And I'm like, dude, why are we breathing hard? Like, it's
Yeah,
just, I
and
don't know.
the way it plays that back to you, like if you're playing with headphones, it's crazy. I was playing with headphones, and when she was breathing hard, I felt like I was breathing hard. The way the
Yeah.
audio was like mixed,
Yeah. And
like
that's just one piece of audio. I mean, we can talk
yeah,
about like everything. Dude, the Foley sounds in this game are just
phenomenal.
again, this is a they in the individual categories, The Last of Us Part 2 far exceeds everything else because it just goes above and beyond the level of expectation that every other game sets. Um and I don't know, I recognize it for that. Uh even though it's not, even though it's not the best game overall, the individual components are like, you can tell they put the work in.
Yeah,
Um,
it's the detail that you respect in Last of Us too, like the level of detail in everything
yeah,
they do, the audio, the video. Which I didn't want this to become like a Last of Us hour, but it kind of did because The Last of Us did do a lot this year
look, it was the
that
same
warrants
like
discussion.
last year. Death Stranding, people were like upset, like Death Stranding was a game last year where there was a lot of like controversy, but you can't fucking disagree that that game's individual components, uh, it outshined everything else, man. Um, like it's the same thing here with The Last of Us. Like that, this game's has quality in every area, except the one where it matters. uh, but like I don't know, you have to at least be big enough to recognize it. And I mean, if you like disagree, then that's one thing. But I don't know. I recognize level of quality in that game. So like audio design, easy for me. Last of Us Part Two.
I agree. And Last of Us is actually my pick too. Um, Now best performance. I know
Last
you
of
want to give it
Us.
to Last of Us. I know, but hear me out. Hear me out here. Hear me out here. Awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and or performance capture. The fact that Logan Cunningham is on here for Hades is impressive to me that he even got nominated because there's no motion capture at all. It's all vocal performance,
Yeah,
which is
I
really
think
good.
he's not his first nomination. He's
No, He
He's
was
a
in he's been with he's been with Supergiant Games forever. He did
he's in everything.
the
He's the
yeah,
narrator.
yeah, he's a narrator in Bastion.
Yeah.
He's the transistor in Transistor, and he played a shit ton of characters in Pyre. Even in Hades, he plays Hades, Poseidon, the narrator. He plays a ton of characters in Hades, and that's something I wanted to recognize because I know these other games are going to sweep this out. That's something I want to recognize that Laura Bailey just played Abby. Ashley Johnson just played Ellie. Daisuke Tsuji just played Jin, and Najee Jeter just played Miles Morales. But the fact that Logan Cunningham he's like a fucking chameleon. He can play all these different characters, and you
Yeah.
don't even notice it. Like that's something I wanted to recognize.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about that character that they played. And we have 2 nominations for Last of Us. We have Ashley Johnson as Ellie and Laura Bailey as Abby. And honestly, I don't know who to give it to. Like those are the 2 that
Ashley
are going to be
Johnson.
tied for me. You think
That
so,
was
Ashley
easy for
Johnson?
me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, why? Why?
Just for like the one scene. I mean, I don't know if we should say the scene. You know which one I'm talking about. The one.
I know.
Uh,
I know what you mean.
Dude, the emotion that so like okay, the emotion flying out of that scene was one thing, right? Where I was just like, dude, this is oh my god, the the places you have to take that she has to take her mind as an actor to get into I don't know, to get into the I don't know, like I don't even know. So hearing her describe what she had to do to actually get into that zone, like later on in like interviews, I was like I was tearing up just like hearing her describe what she had to do to even get into the character in that moment. I was like, and even in the game, I felt it. I was like, dude, you like this is incredible, incredible. I mean, she carries it all the way through the entire game as well, but
Yeah.
it was just
Now,
that one moment. I was like, dude, this is like you're like this is like your like breakout before like if this was like a movie, like you would it would be Oscar, like that would be an Oscar performance right there. Like
okay,
if you're
I'll give
talking
you
about
that. If we're talking about that scene, and I haven't read the interviews, but I know where you're coming from
yeah
because I felt the same way. It's very emotional, guttural, like almost animalistic the way
yeah
she reacts, and it's 110% like believable. It's almost scary.
yeah
And that goes back to what we were saying earlier. That combined with the other stuff the game did, the graphical fidelity, the art direction, like that all combined with Ashley Johnson's performance, just beautiful.
um
Um,
Laura Bailey too. I love Laura Bailey, but
yeah, me too.
she didn't really have any moments that let her shine like that. You know, like she does have some good moments, but she didn't have any that let her just fucking push it out. Um, like they really let Ashley just push it the fuck out right there, and that's like just that one moment outshines everything. I mean, I don't even know why Ghost of Tsushima's in most of these categories. I mean, that game just does not like not to shit on that game, but like come on. uh, um, like yeah, again, lots of yeah, Ashley, all the way. If she doesn't win this, I'm gonna be upset.
I don't think we have to worry about that. I think she is gonna win this.
No, but you know
Um,
how people feel about this game, man. Like they will try to anything this game is associated with, they will try to fucking destroy. And I'm like, no, there's great things about this game. Like, let's not, say what you want about like the story itself or the gameplay. The individual components here far exceed everything else.
yeah, yeah, I'll give you that. Um, Now here's one. I don't know enough about this category or the games in it to have an opinion,
This
but we
category
have
is trash.
games for impact.
Yeah.
For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. Um, I haven't heard of. I don't understand how these games had a pro-social meaning or message. Tell me why I get. Tell me why
again,
I understand.
again, see, that's the problem I have with like award shows is they just throw the names at you, but don't tell you why they're nominated. Like if you don't know, like you could be swayed. Like if they put up an argument for these games, you could be swayed to be like, oh, you know what, that actually sounds pretty important. I will vote for that. Instead of the game I did play because this one actually sounds more impactful. But they don't make the argument, so you really have no fucking clue unless you played the game. So I will give it to Spiritfarer. Um,
Oh, okay.
we
And
should
why?
we list the games out. If Found, Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition, Spiritfarer, Tell Me Why, and Through the Darkest of Times. Um, Now I played Spiritfarer and Tell Me Why, and I've only heard of Kentucky Route Zero, and I have not heard of these other ones. Um, but Spiritfarer is like the game you wish uh, Animal Crossing was. Like, you play like you're the ferryman, so you're like taking the souls, and like taking them to your ship, and then just like taking care of them until they're ready to go to the other side. And in those moments when you're with them, you feel a real connection to everyone you meet in a way that you don't with like an Animal Crossing. Like an Animal Crossing, they just kind of exist, and then like I think they'll like remember your birthday only because they're like programmed to or whatever the fuck. Like, and this there's like I don't know, you feel like a genuine connection with the spirits that you take on the ship. And I don't know, it's something you don't get from a lot of games. Now I don't know what like the category is called games for impact, thought provoking with a pro social meaning there's no real message to Spiritfarer. Um, so I don't know what like the category is here,
Yeah.
but like Tell Me Why doesn't really have a message either. And that was the other game I played. Um, like other than the main character is transgender, but they don't really like make any statements about that. It just kind of just is. Um, I mean, when you get down to the actual like story that's there, that's nothing to do with any pro social. That game doesn't say
Mhm.
anything. Uh, so
Which the hiccups. I just want to interject with just because a game has or a movie or TV show has a gay character or a trans character, anyone in the LGBT community, doesn't mean that they have to have something to say. They can just be characters.
yeah,
I'm not saying like every game that has someone who's like non-white or LGBT that they have to have a message to it. But at the same time, like, why is this in that category? If the point of that category is that it does have something to say, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, if you're in that category, there's something to say about it. But from what you told me, if what other people told me, tell me why it doesn't have that. It doesn't have a reason for that, which again is fine. It doesn't have to have a reason, but it does need to if it wants to win that award.
yeah. I mean, it pops up with like small stuff, like tiny, tiny, where they hint at a thing, or I mean, the transgender stuff. Like they'll hint at things happening around that, but it's never anything substantial or significant. The story is not about that at all, not even close.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
Spiritfarer. Well, I don't have a vote in this, but Spiritfarer is Sabi's vote.
yeah,
Then we have best ongoing. Now this is another tricky one. It's awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. We have Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. Now, if the point of this is evolution and continuing development of ongoing content, I would argue that No Man's Sky has more of that. And I'm not just talking about like
Yeah,
vanilla No Man's Sky to now, just in this last year alone, with their latest expansion has added so much new content to that game.
yeah.
What has Fortnite had? Like
Marvel.
some marketing stuff and some in-game like concerts.
Yeah,
Apex Legends added some new maps and some new characters, which is cool, don't get me wrong. Destiny 2 added more content to the existing game, but it didn't change anything.
they actually Destiny 2 has actually evolved a lot. They completely redid the armor system. There's like a whole
Just this
like
year alone,
mod system. I don't remember if that was this year, but I do
because
know.
that's what I'm arguing is like just this year of 2020.
Yeah,
I think No Man's Sky has had like the biggest like
it's definitely No Man's Sky.
evolution. Yeah,
But
yeah.
you can make the argument for Destiny, and then all these other ones are not
Mhm.
at all. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, just adding more content to it, that's fine. Like, I'm not complaining about that. But if we're stacking them up against each other, like No Man's Sky is just, it's gone above and beyond what it needed to. It added more content that completely changed the way the game is played. Um, whole new gameplay elements, and just so much has changed for it.
Yeah,
Like,
but also Destiny 2. I think you don't follow.
yeah,
Destiny is not as loud about it as No
yeah.
Man's Sky, because like No Man's Sky is a real like had a real turnaround. But Destiny is they every time Destiny comes up in this podcast, I talk about it, and then everyone's like
Mhm.
salty on it. I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, it's not how you remember it. They like that game changed a lot. So,
I'll have to give it a try then. I'm still gonna give it to No Man's Sky.
yeah, it's definitely No Man's Sky, but I'm just saying there's an argument to be made for Destiny.
Yeah,
So, if anything but those two get this category, huge
I'm
upset.
gonna be pissed. Yeah, I'm gonna be
Yeah,
pissed. Which it's a popularity contest, so it's probably gonna go to Fortnite or Apex, but we'll see.
yeah.
Well, I
Which
forgot Call of
again,
Duty.
like
Maybe Fortnite or Call of Duty.
No
We'll
Man's
see.
Sky is another one of those games where people love to hate. So, like,
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't get the dues it's deserved, but that was a real turnaround. So,
Next we have Best Indie. Now, the list here is interesting. Best Indie for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. We have Carrion, Fall Guys, Ultimate Knockout, Hades, Splunky 2, and Spiritfarer. What are we giving this award to and why? Splunky is a good roguelike, but so is Hades.
yeah,
I'm almost convinced to give it to Fall Guys just because of like what it was able to do with the battle royale genre that was already like oversaturated,
yeah,
but it was able to flip it on its head without the big budget that these other like it doesn't have Epic money, it doesn't have EA money, it doesn't have Activision money, but it was able to make this game that I think competed with those other battle royales. So, like, what do we give this, or do we just give it to the game we thought was the most fun? Like, what decides best indie this year? And this is why, like, I'm having a tough time deciding on.
yeah. Uh, I will say, um, if I'm putting lasting appeal, uh, if I'm putting that towards weight towards these games, I will say I fell off of Fall Guys,
Mm-hmm.
pun intended. Um, I fell off of that game pretty fucking quickly. Um, and so did the rest of the internet. I mean, that game's like not even, it was the top on Twitch for a while. Now it's like the third row, if even. Um, there's still a lot of people playing that game. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah,
I feel like it just came and went very quickly.
it did, and the fact that and that should be a testament to it too, is the fact that it was able to come in how it did, and basically eat up, Activision's lunch, Epic Games lunch, compete with those other big like battle royale games, like come in and just sweep them out for a little bit, even if it was just for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like should that like that's why it's so hard to pick here, because if we're just picking like the funnest game, it's probably gonna go to Hades if we're being honest here. Like that game's getting a lot of attention, people are still playing, people still like it. But I
Yeah.
wanted to bring up like what Fall Guys did, even if it didn't last, like what it was, the splash it made when it did come in, I think is worth mentioning.
And then yeah, Carrion and Spiritfarer, they're both very unique games
Yeah,
on their
that's
own.
another thing. That's another thing. Do you want to give it to the uniqueness and creativity of it? Because if we're honest here, like Splunky and Hades, they're not unique in the sense of like they've never been done before. Like how many indie roguelites are there now?
Yeah.
How many games has Supergiant made? Action games that are similar to Hades. Like, they kind of follow the same style. So that's why it's hard to like what defines best indie? Like what are we looking at here?
Yeah.
Like that's why it's so tricky. I don't have an answer for this. So I don't know if you do.
Hades. It's gonna be
Hades.
Hades. Well, Hambo in the chat says Fall Guys. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, if the voting like happened like 2 months ago, it could have been Fall Guys, but I feel like the steam has just died on that. You know, like doing it like
Yeah,
now. I think people have Fall Guys kind of just came and went. People have
I'll give
moved
you
on.
that. I think Hades is gonna get it too, but who do you want to see win it? Do you still want to see Hades win it, or do you think like some other game deserves it?
Hades, Hades. I
Hades.
mean,
Yeah,
you're
Hades.
saying like something that's not in the like not in the nomination.
I mean, up to you, man. Like, if you want to go out a nomination, it's our show. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah. Well, we do have we do have this thing called the Gameoverse Awards, where
Yes.
we do uh, give awards, and we do winner and runner up, so that makes things a little
Hmm.
easier. But so I don't want to go too deep because I really got to look at I really got to look at a list to like remind myself of everything I played. But
Yeah, same
um,
here.
so yeah, without looking at the list, I would say Hades. Yeah.
All right. So Hades gets it. Rest of them are things like best mobile game, best community support, best VR,
Yeah.
innovation, accessibility. But there's three more I want to go over because everything after that's just like, you know, sim games and esports coaches. But there's
Yeah.
three more I want to go over, so I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. We have Best Action for Best Game in the Action genre, focused primarily on combat. I'm going to give it up to Doom Eternal. So, but the nominations here are Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, and Streets of Rage 4. Which good games. All of them are good games. I'm going to give it to Doom Eternal for the reasons I listed previously in the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, what about you?
And you didn't play Hades, but see,
Yeah.
I'm certain if you played Hades, you'd be like, dude, this is fucking incredible. Um. So yeah, I would
Damn it.
say Hades. I
I think I'm
mean,
gonna pick up Hades. I'm probably gonna pick that up later today or tomorrow then, because
like
I need to hurry up and play it.
if you're talking like combat, dude, like that game is just man. I mean, God. I mean, that game does one thing perfectly, and it's the combat. Like everything else, you could say subjectively is good. Like it's my opinion that this is good, but the combat is like you play it and you're like, oh yeah, no, this is what the game is. um, Hambo says Doom for action. Well, you must not have played Hades because Doom is great. Like Doom is great, but the things that I didn't like about Doom, Hades fixed. Like,
And see, that's the thing. Like you say, like you didn't like about Doom, but I I did. Like I did
then
like
if you
Vinci and
did
like.
like it, if you did like it in Doom, you'll like it even more in Hades.
All right. All right. I'll give it a try. I have like a $5 gift card. Hades is like what, $25 on the eShop right now?
Is it? I
Let me
forgot it
take
was
a
on
look.
Switch.
Yeah, see what me says. Well, I could do that on my PS4, but I'm not gonna play it on my PS4. I want to play this shit on the go. But I'll
um,
look into it. You convinced me. I'm gonna have it in the next couple days. Hopefully by next week I can talk about how awesome Hades is.
that's
After
awesome.
that we have best action adventure. For the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving,
Ori.
we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and Last of Us Part 2. Now, do we? I'm going to eliminate this right now. I don't think Last of Us Part 2 had the best puzzles. Let's be honest here.
No,
Like traversal was okay. The sections that were kind of open were cool. Finding like logs and environmental storytelling was really neat.
yeah,
But
cool
I would argue
physics.
the cool physics, but I'll argue the physics and Fallen Order and the puzzles in Fallen Order were more interesting.
Did that game come out this year? I
It did
don't
come out
remember that
this
game
year.
at all.
It came out like very early this year.
Man,
I played at a buddy's place, and I felt like it felt like Dark Souls, Star Wars mixed with Zelda,
yeah,
which like that I like that. But then Will of the Wisps had a lot of really cool combat puzzles that I saw you playing through that were really neat.
I mean, game of the year. So, uh,
I'm gonna have
it,
to give it between Jedi and Will of the Wisp, if I'm being honest.
wow.
Like that's me, yeah.
Um, yeah, I will say I enjoy Valhalla, but it's not. It's an Assassin's Creed game, and so is Ghost of
Yeah.
Tsushima. So, I don't know why that got so many nominations and Valhalla didn't, but Valhalla is a way better game than Tsushima. But it doesn't really matter because
Yeah,
neither
exactly.
of them should win in any of the categories they were in. But Miles Morales is like that game like just came out. I feel like no one's really played it yet. Like no one's really talking about it. So that's a hard one to really say for certainty.
Yeah.
Uh, but Will of the
Um,
Wisps, that's a that game is fucking phenomenal. So
I hear you, and I will play it one day. The day is not today, though.
yeah,
Um, Next we have best role-playing game. For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. We have FF7 Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Let's get this out of the way. Final Fantasy 7 Remake was a little too linear, I think, to win this award this year.
yeah, and the I don't know, just like the systems in that game were not as fleshed out as like it kind of didn't make sense how
Mm.
uh like you have materia, you can slot materia into your weapons and all the materia levels up individually, but it really doesn't encourage you to kind of switch everything up. It doesn't make it easy to switch it up, first of all, but it doesn't really
Mm.
encourage you to switch them up either. So you kind of just
Exactly.
get locked into a play style based on whatever the fuck you have at that moment, and that's just what you use. And then it'll take characters from you during certain parts of the story, and then you're like
Uh-huh.
fucked. Well, it'll give you all your shit back for the characters it takes away, but yeah, I really didn't. If you're talking about like character, like just straight the numbers game and that, and like developing how I'm gonna use my character, there's none of that in this game. Like it's an action game. Like I feel like they
Yeah.
should have just got rid of all the RPG shit and just made it a Devil May Cry game, because it would have been so much better instead of just
I would have
half-assing they
bought that
did.
day one if that's what they did.
Yeah, yeah,
I played the demo, and that was a big complaint we had with the demo when I played it. I was like, it's trying to be an action game without committing to it, and it's trying to be an RPG without committing to that, and it's in this weird middle ground that doesn't please anybody,
yeah.
at least in my opinion. If we're gonna talk like just straight player character customization progression, I got to give it to Persona 5 Royal, which I did play this year,
Now,
and it did. Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Come on.
you know what I'm gonna say? This game came out already. Why is that in this list?
So Royal adds a shit ton of content to this game.
Is it significant enough to consider it a new game? Okay.
Yes, dude. It completely changes how the game. You have 2 new party characters, another new list of confidants with their own abilities they can add to your game. Like something like 30, 40 hours of content, new dungeons, new demons or personas. I forgot to call personas in this game, not demons. To fuse and abilities to combine. Even the bosses you've already fought have all been tweaked. So even though you've already fought them, they are a different boss. There's new mechanics for even the dungeons you've already gone through. They've added new mechanics to traverse through them. Like it doesn't feel like the stuff was tacked on. Like this feels like from the beginning of the game, it was interwoven perfectly through the whole game, and it's really crazy. If we're talking strictly character customization, you as the player can have like a whole like 11 personas you can choose from, and you can control everything down to their stats, their abilities, and if you fuse them with other personas, what abilities you get from that. Not just that, but you have a whole team of party members who all do level up, and their stats are leveled up automatically, but the abilities they have are all your choice. And depending on your progression with that character, they can unlock new abilities. So even if you and I like played the game the same, and we had the same team at the end of the game, but I hung out with my characters more than you did, or you chose to hang out with one character more than another, we can have a totally different team just based on the abilities that they have from hanging out with them. Like this game, if we talk character customization, this game pushes that to the extreme. And it is a huge enhancement over what Persona 5 did. So that's why I think justifiably, even though it came out already, quote unquote, the extra stuff you see in Royal is definitely worth like the buy again for this game.
Okay, because the upset in this category is that game is here and that Xenoblade game that came out is not.
And I see the complaint there. Especially since like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition I will argue, has done more to enhance Xenoblade than Persona 5 Royal did to enhance
Yeah.
Persona
And it
5.
adds a new
Yeah.
like some new chapters as well.
Exactly. So that's why like I can't answer like why Xenoblade Definitive Edition didn't get on this list. Well, we do know it's a popularity contest.
Yeah.
Persona 5 Royal definitely sold way more than Xenoblade did.
Yeah. And then again, like Yakuza Like a Dragon, I hear things like, "Oh, this is the best Yakuza game, period." And I want to play it, but like nominating it here, so that game just came out. I feel like there's no one on the planet who had enough time to really get into the meat of that game before like you got to vote for it in this thing. So, Genshin Impact, fuck that game. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's not quality. You know, it is a quality game. They did put some effort into, crafting a thing that you can sit down and play. But fuck that game. So
yeah.
I don't got time for it. So Wasteland 3, very good. Very good. But it's not my kind of game.
Yeah. And it is a good game. From what I've seen you play of it, it does look like a good game, but if we're talking just amount of content, dude, Persona 5 Royal has so much shit. You're gonna be playing that game for weeks.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Yakuza would be my choice if I played it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. I love Persona. Don't get me wrong, but that Yakuza, that is like definitely my kind of shit. That is my kind of shit, man. Just stupid fucking shit like that. So yeah, this one,
I hear you.
I feel like this one is either Persona or Yakuza. Final Fantasy. There's people that love Final Fantasy, so I feel like that could also go either way in any of these categories. But you just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where it's gonna go. I'm feeling Persona 5 because, like, the power behind that game, the fan power behind that game is insane. But
Yeah,
we'll
Persona
see.
might that game might take it.
But we'll see. Next best fighting game, and I have some issues with this list. Fighting games are not a popular category. I'll be honest. No, not a lot of fighting games come out every year. But this list, we have Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Cool game. Arc System work joint. Looks beautiful. Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, which Mortal Kombat 11 came out last year. So just because they slapped Ultimate on it, it deserves to be on the list again. And even more egregious, Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition is also on this list. And then we have One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows, and Under Night In Birth EXE Late CLR. I don't think I pronounced that correctly, but I don't care. That's weeb shit. I don't fuck with that weeb shit. Um, Jokes aside, this is a weird fucking list. Two of those games have already come out last year. I would argue Mortal Kombat 11 deserves to be on this list more than Street Fighter because this year we had the Aftermath expansion and the second character pack come out, or the third character pack come out. I think the second one came out this year too. Yeah, Aftermath and their second and third character pack both came out this year. So that's enough to enhance it that I think it might deserve. You can argue it deserves to be on the list. I still don't think it should be, but you can argue it could. But Street Fighter 5 though, like
That game comes
they
out every
had,
year.
yeah, it's got a new character pack every couple months. So like, why even bother putting that on the list here? So I'm gonna cross both of those out just because out of principle. If we're talking like fun, I'm gonna give it to Mortal Kombat if I can't cross them out. But I want take Mortal Kombat off this list, Street Fighter off this list, and out of these games, I'm gonna give it to Grand Blue Fantasy. Just purely based on the art style, the work that went into it. Arc System Works make fantastic fighting games, and Grand Blue Fantasy has a really cool combination of being a good fighting game, excuse me, while at the same time
I heard there were like
appealing to a
RPG
non-fighting game crowd.
mechanics in there too.
Yeah,
The
yeah, for the
story.
single player campaign, it's like a single player RPG with fighting game systems. It's really cool. It's like a almost like a beat 'em up RPG with fighting game mechanics. It's really cool. Um,
It's like Sub-Zero Mythologies.
a little bit, but without the platforming. You're strictly just
Oh, you mean
here's
but
some
good?
guys beat 'em up. Yeah. Here's some guys beat 'em up. And it's really cool, and I like it for that. It does a lot because the good thing about Grand Blue Fantasy is that it's like a mobile game series. People who there's not a lot of crossover between the fans of Grand Blue Fantasy and people who play fighting games. So Arc System Works did a lot of work to make this engaging to both demographics, and I think because of that, I want to give it to Grand Blue Fantasy, but that's just me. Do you have an opinion on this category at all?
Nope, my bad. There's a fucking
No.
jet outside. Uh,
Okay, no worries.
um, no, I've not played any of these, so I have no opinion. But it'd
All
be
right.
nice if they showed some clips or something up. If I can click the image and get
Yeah,
a clip or something to just see it,
I
I can be
agree.
like, oh, you know what, this one looks cool. I'll vote for that one. But
Yeah. Oh well. Um. So that's it. Everything else is like best family game, best sim strategy game. I don't think we need to go over those, do we?
no, no, I don't
No.
think
All
so.
right. All right. Cool.
I will say Among Us is nominated in the mobile category, and
Which
that
that
game
game came
is,
out like 3 years ago, right? So
yeah. But I don't know. So if we're talking like the impact, I guess, then sure. But then if we're talking impact, then Animal Crossing would win everything. So
Exactly. That's why I like these. They kind of make up these rules as they go along, I feel. Um, Moving on, we have IO Interactive revealed that they're working on a new project, a new James Bond game. They teased on Twitter they're working on it, and according to them, it's featuring a wholly original Bond story, and players will step in the shoes of the world's favorite secret agent to earn their 00 status in the very first James Bond origin story. Um,
this is exciting
this is exciting, but here's what I
because
think would be cool with it. Oh,
yeah.
continue.
Oh well, I was gonna say that fucking GoldenEye ruined James Bond games forever. So it's
Mhm.
nice to see one James Bond in the right hands. Well, let me elaborate. It's because okay, that game was a first person shooter, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
that's not what fucking James Bond does. Okay, James Bond doesn't run around shooting motherfuckers. Okay, he's a spy. So
Yeah.
like the success of GoldenEye ruined James Bond forever in video games because after that, every game needed to be a first person shooter, and they all needed to copy GoldenEye, which is the right way to do things. So IO, who makes the Hitman games,
Mhm.
perfect
Yes,
studio to work on the
I
James
agree.
Bond games.
I agree. And that's really cool. And I love seeing that. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, yeah, the Hitman guys to make a James Bond game. Fuck yes. Like I'm all for it. But here's one cool thing I want to talk about. James Bond has been a thing forever. The first James Bond movie was in like 1967. The first James Bond book was like the 1950s. So like which timeline are we gonna be following here? Because I would personally love to see like a 1950s, 1960s style James Bond game that's supposed to be like an origin story.
Yeah,
Or if it's going to be more modern, we're going to have more spy stuff, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, but I'd love to see like a more nitty gritty 50s, 60s style James Bond game. I know it's never going to happen, but I'd like to see that. I think it'd be cool as hell.
yeah. I'm super interested in where. And I'm not the
Mm-hmm.
biggest James Bond fan,
Me
but
neither.
it's just
Me neither.
it's exciting to see. To finally see one done right.
Mm-hmm.
Cause fuck man, they've been fucking up this series for since its inception. So
Yeah, I agree completely, and it'll be cool to see what we get out of this. I trust IO to do a good job.
oh yeah, yeah,
I don't think we have anything to worry about here. I think IO is going to do a great job with James Bond. We'll still wait and see. They barely started working on it, so we're probably not going to see anything on it for at least a couple of years. But
yeah.
I will be waiting with belated breath to see what they do, man.
And
Um,
I don't know how much time
yeah.
you got, but I got all day. I'm just saying we're already hitting 2 hours, so I don't know how much time you got, but I can keep going, but just making sure
I
that
can
you're
go.
okay.
I can go. I'll let you know if I have to leave or not, but I'm good.
Okay, the
Um,
long one.
yeah, it is. We have info on Capcom. They announced they were suffering a data breach and ransomware attack. They announced recently that they were the victim of a customized ransomware attack following unauthorized access to its network. It has verified that personal information maintained by Capcom has been compromised. The compromised data could potentially be things like personal information for employees, former employees, business partners, customers, and sales reports, as well as financial information, sales documents, development documents, all kinds of stuff, dude. There's so much stuff got hacked and stolen. None of it contains credit card information, so that's great.
Yeah,
All online transactions are handled by a third-party service provider. So if you bought Resident Evil 3 on sale in the last couple months, you're fine. Capcom doesn't have that info. It went through Sony, Steam, whoever you bought it through. So you're
yeah,
good there. Um, we did get some cool leaked documents out of it, though. Some cool documentation about a Resident Evil 4 remake, Dragon's Dogma 2, Street Fighter 6, and even Onimusha, which is one thing I didn't think Capcom was even thinking about anymore. I
Yeah.
fucking love me some Onimusha.
There's a Mega Man game in there.
Mm-hmm.
Monster Hunter Stories 2, which I think we already know that's coming, right?
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff that got leaked, and I don't like to report on leaks, but I mean this is exciting. We got a new Onimusha. We got
Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma 2, man. I love Dragon's Dogma.
Dragon's Dogma
I
2 is big.
yeah,
Um
which I'm gonna be
that's
honest. Oh,
Deep
sorry.
Down. Remember Deep Down?
I do remember Deep Down.
That's probably what that
Um,
is.
that'd be awesome. They just turned Deep Down to Dragon's Dogma 2. I kind of had a feeling we'd be seeing something more from Dragon's Dogma because I don't know if you remember, but Netflix did a Dragon's Dogma anime about a month or two back.
Wait, they did that already? I thought that was just
They
like
did
in the
that.
works.
No, that's out. That's out. The whole first season's out. It's okay. It feels like baby's first D&D campaign, to be honest with you. But
Uh,
it's kind of generic, which kind of makes me sad because I wouldn't use the word generic to describe Dragon's Dogma. But I thought when that got announced, I was like, they wouldn't be doing a Dragon's Dogma like anime if they weren't planning on doing something with Dragon's Dogma. Either it's a new Dragon's Dogma game or a sequel or an enhancement of Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen.
yeah.
And so this confirmed my suspicion that there was some new Dragon's Dogma stuff in the works. I was not expecting Onimusha. I don't know what they're doing with Onimusha, but I love me some Onimusha. I thought when they released the Onimusha H Warlords, the first one, they released that in HD. It sold like shit. So I was totally expecting them to shelve it forever. But we'll see what they're doing, man. Like I love Onimusha. It's one of my favorite series, so I'm happy to be seeing that coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah.
Not a huge Capcom fan, but I do enjoy Dragon's Dogma. That's
Hmm.
about it.
I like a lot of stuff Capcom puts out, dude. I grew up playing mostly Capcom games. The Resident Evil 4 remake is something I knew they were working on, so I'll probably be looking through the internet to see some of these docs to see what to expect in the RE4 remake. If I'm being honest with you, um, I'll have to wait and see, man. I'll have to wait and see what comes out of this. Again, these are just leaked documents and images. This could be like shelved concept art that never made it past that. We don't know.
Yeah.
Just because the stuff got leaked doesn't mean for sure Dragon's Dogma 2 is currently being worked on. Onimusha, a new Onimusha game is being worked on. We don't know that for sure. Just that there's documents that it was talked about or worked on at one point in time. Um, and now in our quickies, we have a Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament was shut down by Nintendo. There was a post on Twitter from the tournament hosting board announcing that Nintendo sent a cease and desist and shut it down, mainly due to the use of Slippy, which is a third-party software that allows Melee to be played online using rollback netcode, which is just fancy fighting game terms. Because
Yeah.
of the way it was being used, Nintendo shut it down. Which it's an online tournament. Melee doesn't have online, so what were they expecting?
Yeah, well, I think
Um,
it's the implementation. I'm not even sure how what how the Slippy stuff works, but if it doesn't like infringe on anything Nintendo is doing, like if that's all just open source shit, then I don't see what Nintendo has to do with it. How they can even come in and say, no, you can't do this. Um,
here's the problem with that, and it's because copyright law is fucking bullshit. A big part of it is, I'll be honest, Disney kind of fucked up copyright law for everybody. But that's a whole other story. The big issue is that if Nintendo allows this, let's say Nintendo allows this tournament to go through, and fans use Slippy to enhance Melee. Some other fan creates a whole new Melee remake, let's say, from the ground up, using Slippy as a base to play online. kind of like Project M, but for Melee, like a total conversion mod for Melee that allows like online play, extra character, stuff like that. Let's say they do this 5 years later. Nintendo wants to do a Melee HD remaster featuring online play.
Yeah, but they're not like they're just shutting down the tournament. They're not shutting down like people using the thing,
which doesn't make sense to me. But bringing that out into the world there is kind of like letting this copyright go. So again, let's say like they did try. Let's say my whole example. They did try to make like a Melee HD with rollback netcode and online play. The person who made that total conversion mod or tool in the first place could have a case that Nintendo's infringing on their copyright. It's stupid, and it would never win in court. But the fact that this person could make that claim, I think, is what scares away Nintendo from allowing all this fan stuff, which is shitty. It's really shitty that copyright law is so nonsensical sometimes to allow this kind of stuff to happen. But I think that's Nintendo's big concern. I don't agree with it. I think they're overreacting, but that's why they have this concern. Even allowing this tournament to happen could become an issue. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know enough about copyright law.
Not? Okay.
So a lot of people. Are you being sarcastic, or are you really like, I didn't know copyright worked that way? But again, I'm not a lawyer, but that's a big reason why Nintendo's so hard on their IPs. It's another reason why they shut down that Metroid 2 remake, because they already had a Metroid 2 remake in the works. So they had allowed it to go through. The person who made AM2R could take Nintendo to court and be like, the remake idea is infringing on my copyright because I was the first one to remake the game from the ground up.
I just find it funny that Nintendo's online solution is shit, especially even for their official tournaments, are laggy as fuck.
Exactly.
And to see like this fan-made stuff come out and be worlds better than anything they're doing, and for them to shut it down, it's like you're jealous. You're jealous what's happening here.
And I'm sure that's a part of it. Their pride got hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
And to those of you listening, their online netcode is fucking bad. When COVID first hit, and then surprisingly, Smash Ultimate was supposed to be at Evo, but then when Evo moved to always online and online competition, it had to get pulled because the netcode was so bad. It was almost unplayable. They couldn't hold it at a tournament level with how bad the netcode was.
But I like when the announcers, the commentators, just like keep commentating as if nothing's happening.
Yeah, like it's not
hilarious.
Like it's not a fucking glitchy, fucking laggy mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's at least acknowledge it. Like, God, this game runs like shit.
Yeah.
But that's the big concern. I think it's dumb for Nintendo to take that out, but what are you gonna do, man? Nintendo's gonna Nintendo. That should be a shirt. Nintendo gonna Nintendo. Oh, that should be the name of this podcast. This episode.
All right.
We have Animal Crossing usage guidelines for business and organizations. I actually heard about this before the podcast. The big thing is Nintendo wants to kind of limit how people use Animal Crossing to promote their businesses, organizations.
Which is smart because...
Yeah, which is smart.
That game, I don't know if you can see this, but I got my little highlighter tool on this article here.
I can't see it.
Oh yeah, you can't see it. Well, I did the thing I said I was going to do last week, which, by the way, the tool I found to do this limits you to 7 highlights per page. So I got to find a different one. So I wasn't able to highlight everything on this page, but they said we would like to share a few guidelines with those businesses, organizations, and anyone representing them to preserve the experience for the millions of people enjoying the game recreationally. Businesses and organizations may use the game in the following ways: providing a custom design, inviting other players, uploading screenshots, and family-friendly websites and social networks. Um, but they say, do not engage in activities that go beyond the rating. Vulgar, discriminatory, or offensive. Refrain from bringing politics into the game. Do not share. Which, by the way, there was like a Biden Island. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that, and
Um,
that's a big part of like what caused this. I think is
yeah.
not just Biden, but I think God damn it, what's her name? Uh Ocasio Cortez. What's her full name? AOC, her full name. I can't remember, but she had
Oh,
like a whole like Democrat island or something, talking about like Democrat issues, and that combined with like Biden and them like having a whole like Biden Island. Like I could see why Nintendo got a little iffy about it,
yeah. Do not share
especially
false
since
information about the game.
yes, that's the big one. People don't want Nintendo doesn't want people saying like they were authorized by Nintendo to do this or anything like that.
Yeah. Do not deceive others while using the game. So, do not leverage the game as a marketing platform.
Which basically means like you can't excuse me, the hiccups. You can't direct people to sales plays, distribute coupons, sweepstakes, giveaways, or telling people to follow you on social media. Like it's not meant to be. It's meant to be a game. You share your stuff with people. Don't turn it into like your Facebook marketplace.
Yeah. And you are not allowed to obtain any financial benefit from using the game. So,
Ugh. Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense that Nintendo wants to put this out. Before
yeah.
it get. I don't think stuff with Animal Crossing has gotten out of hand yet. So it's good for them to nip it in the bud before it gets crazy. Um,
Hantaro says he's AOC is his waifu. So,
Not my wife, huh? But it's the politician I agree with.
that's she. I'm assuming that's the only she we were talking about. But yeah, I don't know. Those are good guidelines to follow. It's sad
Yeah,
that
they're
they have
very
to.
good guidelines.
It's sad that they just people just can't conduct themselves in a fucking in a manner befitting of the video game. But
Yeah, I mean the game is rated E for everyone, so keep the content E for everyone. Like it makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Um, we'll have to see what happens. One thing I want to see think is really funny is that people like give me shit because they're like, oh, how can you be okay with like AOC using Animal Crossing, but you make fun of like Hillary Clinton for the Pokemon Go to the Polls thing back in 2016.
oh yeah,
And yeah, I remember that. My argument for that, I have an argument for that, is Hillary Clinton doing that reeks of that "Hello, fellow kids" meme.
yeah,
But AOC is only like what, like 30, 32? Like she is a fellow kid, so she gets a pass. that's my argument.
yeah. And I'm not gonna
Um,
say it's not smart to do that stuff,
yeah,
but it's a little distasteful, maybe.
it's definitely cringy.
Yeah.
Oh, Hannah did mention AOC does play a ranked League of Legends.
Oh,
Oh, that is
nice.
a thing. I did hear about that. Yeah,
All right, and yeah,
like she's cool,
Hantaro is
dude.
he does play League a lot, so just know that about him.
I don't play League. I tried once. Dude told me to kill myself and never played again.
Yeah, well, it's the initiation, right? You got to go through it.
Well, I didn't like it. Um, there's an official statement by Microids and Playmagic regarding 13, which we did
Yeah,
talk about a bit. The first person shooter 13 was getting a remake. It came out to not a great reception, man.
yeah, and I don't remember. I haven't seen anything about it like specifically, but you go to the Steam page and it's just overwhelmingly negative. People hate it. So the guys, they came out and put a statement out on their site saying, unfortunately, players' expectations have not met are not been met by the launch version, and we hear loud and clear legitimate criticism and disappointment. The pandemic has impacted the game's production on many levels. Pivoting to home working for the teams has added unexpected delays in the development schedule and the QA process. Then they say the first update will be pushed shortly to fix the most urgent issues regarding the controls, frame rate, collisions, rendering, and sound. So, seems like I didn't know what the issues were exactly. Sounds like it's everything.
A lot of technical issues. The game's frame rate is all over the place. Collision detection is super off. Even the music, I've been told, like, G-Man Lives, so if you haven't checked them out yet, does a great review on the remake. That brings up stuff I didn't even know was an issue with it. Even as far as the cutscenes being changed, so the game originally had like a comic book style cutscenes
Yeah.
where there were still images on a comic book, kind of like how Max Payne 1 and 2 told their story,
Oh yeah.
but more dynamic. And they replaced that with actual in-game cutscenes. So like that's like a huge point of contention with fans to replace that. Also, character models all got a huge change. There's a lot of stuff people have been shitting about on this game, dude. And technical issues are the loudest part of it. There's also a lot of fundamental things the game did right that they're not implementing in this remake that people are upset about. I don't know how they're going to fix that. They're probably not going to. They're probably going to fix the frame rate and technical issues and call it a day. Or they can completely like redo it and make what the fans wanted. I think this is going to be a success story as big as No Man's Sky, but we'll see.
I don't know about
that. I'm being facetious on purpose. I don't believe that really. I'm just being doing it for dramatic effect. But we'll see what happens. We also have Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to GOG November 24th. I didn't see that coming.
This is cool because
yeah.
I mean, not only are they bringing it to GOG, but it's going to support every single GOG exclusive feature. So like first of all, fully DRM free.
Yep.
So amazing. It's got achievements, cloud saves, full controller support, GOG overlay, the whole shebang, everything. So this is great. They're setting I hope they're setting a precedent for, and I'm talking about PlayStation, for bringing those games over to PC. If they do it like this, fully DRM free GOG, yes, like that's. Like I feel like a lot of these console ports don't understand the specific needs of PC.
Yeah.
Like especially when it comes to like mouse and keyboard type shit. They really skimp on that specifically. FOV sliders. They really just don't understand how shit works when it comes to PC. So this game had a rough launch on PC, but it seems like they've righted themselves and they're on the track again. So again, I hope this sets a precedent for future releases.
Yeah, I hope so too. Anytime I hear a success story like that, I get excited. Especially, a game as big as Horizon going DRM free on GOG. That's a huge deal, and I hope it does set a precedent. And we'll see what happens in the future. Next story. Speaking of PC games, Cyberpunk 2077 got update system requirements for PC on Twitch. I clicked on the link you have here, man, and it doesn't show it to me. I just see a message, and it says this tweet is not for you.
Wait, what are you looking at?
It takes me to Twitter, and it's like, it literally just says like, this content's not for you.
That's what this content is not for you.
Yes.
I've never seen that, but
I've never seen that either. It just finished loading and it came back, but it was a white screen. There's nothing there. So the white screen Twitter logo on the top left corner just said, this content is not for you. Like, I wish I'd taken a screenshot of it so I can send it to you.
Like, you're not going to like what you see here. Turn back now. This ain't for you. Um,
Ah, I wish I can get it to come back. It was really funny.
no, it's just the updated system requirements. Uh, yeah, which you already mentioned earlier, but
Yeah,
like I'm sitting at probably around high ultra 1440, which is not bad. I'm thinking like with DLSS, I'm thinking I could probably do like 4K high. Um, maybe fuck with the settings a little bit. Don't think I'll probably turn on ray tracing just to check it out, and then be like, well, I like frame rate, so I'm turning this off. But yeah, I'm sure it'll look fine without it. But yeah, so again, they don't tell you what the target frame rate is. Which I said when like Hambo posted this in the Discord before. If they tell you this is the frame rate you're gonna get with these settings with this hardware, um, because usually when they do stuff like this, it's usually like 40 FPS. I know GeForce Experience, when you hit that optimize button, that it optimizes for 40 FPS, not 60.
which is bullshit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see why they do it to kind of push those numbers and make it seem like, oh, with this you could run these games at high settings. Just don't ask us what the frame rate's gonna be. you
yeah,
know, um, which is why like it kind of bugged me because I'm looking at this and I'm kind of thinking to myself, recommended 1080p with my 1060 graphics card. According to this, I can run high in 1080p. So if we assume this is 40 FPS, I can probably run like medium at 60.
yeah,
Again, I have nothing to base that off of other than like past experience and guesswork, but
yeah.
take those requirements with a grain of salt. The point is I could run it. I could run it pretty comfortably, and that's like, woo, I don't have to upgrade for another little while.
Yeah. I mean, like PC games, typically, if they're doing it right, they're pretty well optimized at this point. Like
yeah.
they cater to both sides of the scale. You can usually get in, at the low end, and then they usually scale way up for the high end. So, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's why I'm not too worried about it. I think I'm gonna play fine.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm so excited for this game, dude.
I'm
Just to get
excited
my
to
shit
finally
fixed.
just see. I've been avoiding everything about the game, so
I
I'm excited to
know. I
finally see
envy
it.
you. I envy you. I wish I could wipe my brain of the last like year of Cyberpunk news and just go play it already. Um, a side note, have you seen the comments on this? It's just people ripping on Cyberpunk's delays and release window.
Oh, really? I did
Yeah.
see they posted someone asked them about the performance with DLSS, and they posted a fast RMX screenshot, which I enjoyed because no one remembers that game. Um that was a Switch launch game that I remember being very cool, very fun.
What game?
Fast RMX,
Never heard of it.
Fast Remix. It was called Fast Racing Neo before it hit Switch.
Oh,
Um
yeah, I do remember you talking about that.
yeah. It's it's like a wipeout or like a what do you call it? Fucking is it Wipeout? The like the futuristic
Let's go like
sci-fi.
F-Zero.
It's
F-Zero?
it's like Wipeout mixed with F-Zero.
I like
But
it.
yeah, it's
Um,
pretty cool.
some other news. Super Mario 3D All Stars got a new update that added GameCube controller support for Super Mario Sunshine,
Yay.
which a lot of people were talking about that they wanted this to happen, and I'm like actually surprised Nintendo went and did it. That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, they were saying that if they didn't update this, it would be more surprising if they didn't update. So, but yeah, there it is. Players can now invert the camera controls within all three individual titles, which is good. Um, I mean, whatever, The other option is called normal for a reason. If you play inverted, you're not normal. But now you have the option to be not normal. So,
Yep.
uh, GameCube controller support. The Switch Lite system. So here's what I don't understand about the Switch Lite. Does that not have a dock?
It does not. You cannot
So,
play that docked. There's no way to play that on your TV.
interesting.
Switch Lite is strictly portable.
Interesting.
Why? You bought a fucking Switch Lite, didn't you?
No. Dude, I don't follow Nintendo shit as much as like I would like to. So like when that Switch Lite came out, I didn't understand. Like I understood that it was a smaller Switch, and like that the Joy-Cons
like,
didn't come off.
How deep that went. Okay.
Yeah.
The Switch Lite is undockable. It is strictly portable. Which is why it's like $100 less. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
it's
to the point
less,
of like to the point of like not be able to attach any other peripherals to it. Like there's no.
Okay, I didn't say that. You can attach other peripherals to it. It can work with other controllers. The controllers that work through Bluetooth will work with it. So you can like
the GameCube controller.
If it's wireless, you can get like a wireless GameCube style Switch Pro controller. Like I bought one when Smash Brothers came out. They're like $40, but that's literally just a Switch Pro controller, but with a GameCube body.
Oh well, no, it's not a GameCube controller then.
Yeah, it's not an official GameCube controller, so that wouldn't work.
Yeah,
I don't see how that would work with the Switch Lite unless someone built some third-party peripheral to let you play it. Because you can use other controllers with it. You can get the Switch Lite. I don't think it has a dock. But you can buy a case that lets it. Well,
when I say peripherals, I mean like shit that you would have to plug in to the dock.
Or yeah, that's just not going to work.
Like I figured they would have had like because the shit has a USB-C port on the top of it. You can't just like plug shit in.
I mean, I'm sure there's like I don't know why you want to do that. Because then you'd be playing it. You'd have it like on a stand on like a coffee table, and you'd have a separate controller playing on this tiny screen. Like, yeah, that sucks.
I've done it. Dude, okay, so you're grossly misunderstanding they want you to use it like that. I mean, it has a kickstand on it. Like if you're taking it to a friend's, I take it to my friend's place.
The Switch Lite does not have a kickstand. Because I don't think it does. Hold on, I'm Googling.
Okay, see.
I don't think the Switch Lite has a kickstand. I think if like there's a case you can buy that gives it a stand, but I don't think the Switch Lite has a kickstand. Let me check.
So is this another case of Nintendo just doing Nintendo shit? Like,
yeah.
Because I don't. And they're advertising for the thing. That's how you take it to the roof, and all your friends gather around the tiny fucking screen, and you play fucking Mario Kart on it. And
yeah, but you can't do that with the Switch Lite. It doesn't have a kickstand. Not
well,
by
then,
default.
Okay. Well, then don't buy a Switch Lite unless you like. That's like the Xbox Series XS version of the Nintendo Switch.
Basically, but worse.
Like it's cheaper, but you should probably just get the big one.
I mean, for $100 less. Here's the way I see it. It's a third of the cost of the base model, but you're getting like half of the stuff. So
yeah, same with the Series S.
Do the math there. But no, I just Googled it. The Switch Lite does not have a default kickstand built into the system. You would have to do that by buying a third-party kickstand or using a case as a kickstand.
What are we even doing then? Like, there's got to be there's got to be a new Switch coming out, man. I'm waiting for that. Fuck it.
Like a Switch Pro.
Yeah.
We'll see. In other news, and I've actually heard about this from the internet. But Gears 5 to add WWE staple The New Day as DLC characters. Now I don't watch WWE.
Yeah.
But I do know who these guys are.
Yeah.
Because my brother-in-law, shout out to my brother-in-law Tyree, probably not listening, but that's cool, man. Is a fan of these guys.
Yeah.
He has Bootios hanging up in his little man cave.
Yeah.
And he's got a Bootios t-shirt. Like he likes these dudes. He does. He's got a Bootios t-shirt. He worked at my bachelor party. Got a lot of attention from my friends. Um, but I thought it was cool seeing these guys come into the game. A lot of people are complaining
Yeah,
because it's like, what the fuck? You're adding all these like movie stars and WWE stars, but there are actual like Gears of War characters who you are bringing into the game. This is cool, man. Come on. Like, this adds so much fun energy to the game. And it was tweeted out by Austin Creed, one of the one of those guys. And he's like a huge Gears of War fan. He's read all the books, he's played all the games, and he's excited to be in the game. Like, that's cool, man. It doesn't cost anything. It's a free update. So,
yeah.
why bitch about it? Just let it be, man. People are having fun. Just let them have fun. Games are meant to be fun, right?
I wish that I could still play as Run the Jewels, but well, because you had to buy them, so it would be nice. It would have been nice if they were forwards compatible with Gears 5.
It is kind of weird that that's like not a thing.
Yeah, but
Especially since like you had to buy them, you had to pay money for them. So,
yeah,
but whatever, I guess. But this is cool, man. Like you get new characters, new skins, new costume colors, new weapon colors, and it totally matches like their colors in the ring and everything. Like that's cool as shit. Like, even if you're not a fan of these guys, it's still cool as shit to see. But I say like go for it. If it's a free update, who gives a fuck? Like,
yeah.
I'm never gonna complain for free stuff. And it's actually them. It's not like a skin. Like, these guys are like voice acting in the game. They have like taunts and emoticons. Like, it's there's a lot of work putting these guys. These guys are in the game. Like, that's cool as shit, and it's free. So go ahead and bitch about it if you want, but I think it's cool as shit.
I mean, it's not going to get me to reinstall the game or anything, but I
No,
like that it's
but if you're already
happening.
playing it, yeah, I like that's happening too. We have an official gameplay trailer for Cyberpunk 2077. We are now moving to our trailers and videos of the week. This is a trailer that Wasabi probably didn't watch, but
No,
it
we'll
looks cool,
let you
man. It
know.
shows off. Yeah, it shows up. It shows off the customization, the world, some of the gameplay, combat, driving. It's cool, dude. Like, every time I see something on this game, it just looks so cool. And honestly, I can't wait for it to come out. Like, all jokes aside, this game looks fucking awesome.
I feel like this is going to have the No Man's Sky problem of, or they're not completely outright saying what you can and can't do in this game. So there's an impression of, well, it's limitless. You can do anything. But then when it comes out, you start to see the walls, and then the disappointment sets in of where the actual limits are. Uh, I feel like it's gonna have that problem. Like, that was a problem with No Man's Sky, was that they didn't. I mean, they did come out and just say that you could do stuff that you straight up could not do. Uh,
Mhm.
which I don't know if they've done that with this, but they didn't outright say what you can't do in this. So I feel like there's this impression of there's just unlimited possibilities, where it's a video game that couldn't possibly be unlimited possibilities, but
Yeah,
the
and that's
impression
why
is
we'll have to
there
wait
that
and
it is.
see.
Yeah,
I don't have that impression. I do have the impression that it feels like a good RPG in the sense that, all the big factors of the game, all big missions have multiple different ways to complete them.
yeah.
I understand the game's
Maybe it's just
limited
me.
to its scale,
Maybe it's just
but
me. I have no idea what the
yeah,
structure of this game is. Like, I have no idea. Like, once I take control of my character, I don't know what I can do. Like, I'm just thinking of a complete open world, or I can just walk the fuck around and just do whatever the fuck. In my mind, that's what the game is, because I haven't been following everything. So
yeah.
in my mind, there's no limit. I can just walk into a building and then just go through every floor. Like, I have no idea what the constraints are to the world. You know what I mean?
I think it's funny that you didn't watch trailers to like kind of like stroke your expectations, but it's just blowing up your expectations even further.
Of just not looking at anything is is making me even more like,
Yeah.
Well, because everyone just says everything about this game. I'm going for what I hear and just what I've seen so far from the trailers. It's like I've not seen just a straight gameplay segment of okay, we're gonna just uninterrupted. We're gonna show you 37 minutes of straight gameplay, but like not in a mission though. Like I'm sure there's like mission areas, and then there's like areas outside of a mission. You know, like I'm expecting like a GTA, right? But I'm expecting more than that, where I can walk into all the buildings and interact with everything. Is kind of what I'm expecting. GTA, but with like VR levels of interactions. So I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I think it's your fault for putting the expectation on the game, dude.
Well, I don't. Is it my fault, or is that like? Am I the only one that feels that? I don't know. I'm not gonna fault it for not doing that, but like
I mean, I've watched like most of the trailers that have come out, most of the gameplay that have come out. And I don't have that mindset at all.
okay, okay. Maybe I should just go and just watch everything, but then like I don't know. Okay, well that's Cyberpunk.
That's Cyberpunk. Game looks good. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to play it. It'll probably have to be like after December when it comes out because I got to get my fucking computer fixed,
Yeah.
and I refuse to buy that shit on PS4.
Yep.
But I will play it. Another video. We got a Yakuza Like a Dragon video. Specifically, it's a behind the scenes look with the whole cast involved, which is that's cool as shit.
There's spoilers in this video apparently, so I'm just going to I know here's what I didn't know is that George Takei is doing the voice of, I'm assuming he's the main character. I don't know the names of the characters, but he's not the main character. I don't know. He's Masumi Arakawa. He's the only name I recognize here, so
I don't know who that is, but I know who George Takei is, but I don't know what the character he's playing.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a really cool, just like behind the scenes trailer of
Yeah,
the voice
it
talent.
is really cool.
Which it makes me, I want to play this fucking game, man. I just want to play it.
Is it out already? I thought it wasn't coming out till like.
It's out. It is out.
Why did the trailer say like March 2021?
Well, it doesn't come out in Japan until like next year. So, like the releases on it is a little weird, but that game is out.
Oh, there it is. I see it now. I was looking at the wrong thing. So it's out already since November 10th. It's coming out on PS5 in March.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's getting a delayed release on PS5. I remember now. We also got the new winter update for Animal Crossing New Horizons. That is just the update my wife needed to play the game for another couple weeks and then put it away and not play it again. I love my wife, I do, and she wanted this game, so I got it for her. And she played it like religiously when it first came out, but she kind of stops playing it until the next big update, then plays it for a bit, and then shelves it again. Which I can't blame her for. I do the same thing with fucking Diablo, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks cool, man. I mean, Animal Crossing again, not my cup of tea, but I'm not gonna shit on what that game's doing. You know, that game has a niche. The game has a specific thing it is doing for a specific group of people. And I'm not gonna shit on it because I'm not in that group of people.
It's a feel good game, so
yeah,
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. Moving on, what else we got? We got Picross S5.
Yes.
Which I didn't know Picross was still a thing. Like that's pretty cool, actually.
I don't know if you know how long Picross has been a thing. There are Picross games on the Super Nintendo and on the Game Boy, which I went back and played those because they have retro achievements.
Oh yeah.
So I was going back and playing those. But dude, Picross is great. Um,
Oh, we got
yeah,
it coming out on Nintendo Switch November 26th. It is download only, which I mean makes sense. I wouldn't want to go to a store to buy a Picross cartridge.
yeah,
We also got a new expansion to Trine 4, which I've never played Trine up until Trine 3. I got it on the Wii U, and it was fucking awesome.
yeah,
I really, really like Trine. Like I like Trine a lot. And it's because like it's a puzzle game, but the physics are kind of loose. So there's a lot of puzzles you can solve where you're like, I don't know if I was supposed to do it that way, but I completed it, so I don't care.
yeah.
A lot of people complained about that, and I'm like, why?
I feel like.
Why would you complain?
Whoa, what was that? um, no, I feel like if there's no like, I don't like puzzles that don't have a rigid solution. Um,
Yeah,
like if you fumble your way through a puzzle and then you're left with a feeling of like, did I solve it? Like I don't like that feeling.
I do. Because I don't look at it like that.
I
I'm like,
like
is this gonna?
there's two mindsets
Yeah.
to it. There's solving a puzzle in a unique way, and then there's like solving a puzzle and feeling like, did I fuck it up? Did I break it? Did I like? I don't know. I got through it. I'm just gonna keep going. Like that's um
See,
because I don't know
I
if you ever
think
played Baba Is You, but
no, I haven't.
that's a puzzle game where it encourages you to kind of break shit and solve things in a unique way, and you're never left with the
Mm.
feeling of, oh, I don't know if that was it, but I got it. It's always like, hey, I'm smart because I thought of this, and the game that like you don't know what the game wants you to do, but you know that
Mm.
it allows you to kind of do whatever the fuck. So you kind of feel smart when you figure out a unique solution. Whereas like when it's like
I
loose and
see
shit,
where you're coming from, and I think. Oh, sorry. I see where you're coming from, and can you hear me?
yeah, it's
I
just
see
you're
like a
like
ring coming up,
you're
and
roboting up.
okay, am I? Shit. Hold on. Why am I roboting up?
Could be me though, but doing a robot a little bit
All right, how about now? Am I still a robot?
seems all right.
All right, cool. For some reason, my phone disconnected from my Wi-Fi.
Oh,
No idea why.
yeah, my shit does that sometimes too. Cause I got two. You know, you get the good one, and you get the, like the 2.4 one.
Yeah. Um, but I think I know I see where you're coming from, and I think I know why I'm not as hard on Trine. Because when I played through Trine, I played through with my brothers.
Yeah,
So when you have two other people and you guys are both like fumbling through it and you're like laughing, you're like, "Oh, I can't believe that worked." Like that's a different experience from like what you're going through alone.
yeah. I will say like the Outer Wilds is guilty of like puzzles that you're left with like, am I doing this right? Like, is this fucking? 'Cause it doesn't really. That's a very unguided experience, so you kind of just left to your own shit with that game, and
Mhm.
yeah, some of those puzzles don't feel good.
Which is a bummer because I
Yeah,
like good puzzles in games. I think puzzles are fun. But more games need more puzzles, man. Like I remember
yeah,
back when I was a kid, puzzles weren't everything.
yeah,
And now it's like an oddity. When they are there, they're so simple because like they want everyone to get it.
yeah. What I hate is when you solve a puzzle before you figure the puzzle, you've solved it in your head before you can solve it in the game. Like
And the game won't
Uncharted.
let you like just complete it. Yeah.
Uncharted is guilty of this, where it's like, okay, I know the solution. I just got to turn all these fucking things now, and it takes forever. That I hate. I hate that.
Yeah.
like, um, but anyway, I digest. Trying for.
Yeah, Trine 4 expansion, Melody of Mystery. Looks cool. If you're a fan of Trine, pick it up. I mean, Trine's a fun series of games. I like
Yeah,
them.
Yeah.
We also got a trailer for the new World of Warcraft expansion, Shadowlands. I'm not a World of Warcraft guy.
Oh, you're not?
I am not.
Well,
I've never played World of Warcraft in my life. Just because I play
uh,
Diablo doesn't mean I just do everything Blizzard tells me to do.
my roommate, who's in his late 50s, fucking loves World of Warcraft. He plays it
Oh
every
yeah,
single day. He raids every night. He's like a raid leader every night. He
yeah.
gets on like TeamSpeak or whatever the fuck they're using now,
Hmm.
and he like leads raids. So I'm sure he'll be. He's got like a Blizzard, like a BlizzCon like veterans shirt, for
What?
like
Okay.
20 years of service or whatever the fuck for like World of Warcraft. Like he's heavy into World of Warcraft, so
Yeah.
he will be playing this, I'm sure. So
And World of Warcraft is one of those things where if you're a World of Warcraft fan, you're not going to be like, oh, I think I'm going to skip this expansion. No, you've already bought it.
yeah,
You've already bought it. You preloaded it. You're just waiting for it to unlock so you can go play it.
yeah.
Um, we also have speaking of expansions, we have a expansion for the Gwent game that CG Project Red worked on, called Way of the Witcher,
People playing
which
this.
does. I have not been playing it. No, sir.
I mean, is anyone playing this? I mean, someone must be playing this.
I've heard good things about it, dude. People have told me some good things about it. I played Gwent on the Witcher 3 game,
Yeah, where he
and it was
forced you.
cool there. Yeah, I played it there, and it was cool as shit. I thought it was fun. And I've been told that this is like an improved version of that that's more competitive. So I feel like I would be into it, but I haven't played it. It looks cool though.
Valhalla has a version like it's not Gwent, but it's like a dice game.
Mm.
Uh, and it's like their version of Gwent, or like it's fucking confusing as fuck. I have no idea how it works. I tried it once and I was like, this is not for me. You gotta like, it's like you gotta put money down before you like even get to play. And I was like,
Mm.
hey, just keep my money. I'm leaving this game. Like I didn't even finish the round. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. Um, what is the best in-game game? What is the best in-game mini game? Like I remember Triple Triad from Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, that's a good one.
And
Um,
like that was one that was pretty quick too. Like you just do it and it's like 2.5 minutes, you're done.
that one's really quick, and it's I'm trying to think of like a good minigame that just like grabbed me, and I can't think of any. Yeah, I can't think of any. Actually, you know what? There's one. It's a card game, Pazak in Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. It's like blackjack mixed like a collectible card game, and it's again rounds don't go that long, but it's a lot of fun. And if you get really good at it, you can make some money in that game.
Nice.
But BioWare was smart enough to know that some people could make some money in that game. So if you whoop someone too hard or too often, they'll just refuse to keep playing with you.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's really cool though. It's a probably my favorite like in game mini game ever. We also have a Total War Warhammer 2. Just got a new trailer. I'm not a fan of Warhammer or the Total War games, but I know a lot of people are. And
Mm.
I gotta say, after watching this trailer, it looks fucking insane. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at, dude. I got like
Um,
elves fighting like mutant rat people. Like, what is this?
these have always been games that I wanted to like check out, but I never know which one. So
Yeah, because Total War is already an existing franchise. It's like a war sim
yeah,
franchise, and Warhammer's like also an existing. This is like a collaboration between the two of them, right?
yeah. So I don't like. It looks crazy. Uh, but like I always want like if there's like a big battle simulator like this, I always want to be like one guy.
Yeah, same.
Like I find it way more interesting to be like one guy in the army rather than the entire army. But
Yeah, I'm the same way. Um, but this looks really cool. Like I don't know what I'm looking at, dude. Like again, I'm seeing all these like fantasy creatures like druids and nymphs and elves, but they're fighting off like these mutant rats. And like this looks crazy.
yeah, well, this is like the Vermintide, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Warhammer like universe because there's like two different universes, right? There's regular Warhammer and then Warhammer 40K.
Yeah. So this is like the fantasy Warhammer.
Yeah, which I mean, this looks cool. I'm not gonna shit on it. This expansion looks really cool. It makes me want to look into Warhammer, which I guess was like the point of this game existing in the first place.
Yeah. Warhammer's total Vermintide's pretty good. I got the Vermintide games. No, those are pretty dope.
Yeah, I heard they're kind of like Left 4 Dead clones, but they're not bad.
They're better than Left 4 Dead,
Ooh,
I think.
it's a bold statement to make, dude.
I don't know. Well, it's like Left 4 Dead with RPG mechanics.
Okay, I might look into it then once I get my computer fixed. That can be something fun to play on the stream, right?
Yeah.
We also got a trailer for a new game called Creeper World 4. I've watched this
Um
trailer twice. I'm still not entirely sure what I'm looking at.
so I played this during the one of the demo derbies I did. Like
Oh, okay.
it's a tower defense game, but it's like super expansive. It's probably the most expansive tower defense game I've ever seen in my life. Um,
Okay.
it gets fucking insane. So that's all I gotta say about it.
Yeah, because this looks fucking nuts. Like I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it's tower defense, but there's no lanes, so everything comes at you from every direction. So like, and then there's like a mist that you shoot out the mist that's surrounding you, and then you can expand out. Um,
That's so cool.
yeah,
It has some cool shit, dude. There's a unit editor, a custom unit editor, a custom map maker. There's daily missions. Like, there's some stuff in here, man. The gameplay, graphically, the game looks very simple, but it's nothing but like
yeah,
mechanics are very deep and detailed in this game, and I'm kind of
yeah,
into it. I think
yeah.
I want to check this
Mechanics are
out.
king.
Yeah, I kind of want to check this out. I'm adding this to my wish list. Now, this is a trailer I did see. This one looked fucking weird, and I'm so excited you brought this to my attention because this looks cool as hell.
Yeah, does it look cool?
It does look cool. I think it looks crazy. Like, what is this?
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Uh, I thought this shit looks fucking terrible, man. The reason I
I'm
put
like,
it in
what?
here because it looks fucking bad. This looks bad.
It looks crazy, dude. Like, it's got this like stop motion art style to it.
Spirit of the Samurai.
Yeah, Spirit of the Samurai. It's got this stop motion art style to it.
It looks like a Gex game from the '90s. Remember Gex?
I do remember Gex, but I don't feel that at all. I feel like it looks like a 2D side scrolling beat 'em up, but the graphics have like this stop motion style to them.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something very like PS1 FMV about it.
I do not see it. Well, the cutscenes I can see that, but
I don't know. It's like what if you made an entire game out of a PS1 FMV? That's what this looks like.
I don't feel that at all.
You don't? Okay. Well,
No.
maybe it's just me. It just looks so. It looks weird, man. It looks weird.
It looks weird as shit, but I think that's kind of the appeal of it to me, at least. It looks weird, and I'm like, what is this? I want to know more about it. It's probably gonna suck dick, but I want to know more about it. I like weird shit, dude. Like weird and good
Yeah.
aren't always like mutually exclusive, and neither is weird and bad. It's just weird, and that's why it's the kind of weird that I want to see more of it.
Yeah, that's the spirit of the samurai. So
Yeah, it looks fucking weird. um, that's it for trailers. Let's move on to releases. We have World of Warcraft Shadowlands coming out November 23rd. Just Dance 2021 is dropping for PS5 and Xbox Series X November 24th. We also have Star Renegades coming out November 25th on PS4. And Vigor is also coming out on PS4 September 20. What was that? 26th? Yeah,
25.
25th. My bad. It is a free loot. This on the show before. Actually, yes, we did. It looked okay. We
Yeah,
saw it on the Nintendo Switch Direct a couple months back, and it looked okay.
it's a survival game.
Yeah.
Survival.
Then we have Spirit of the North Enhanced Edition coming out on PS5 November 26th. Spirit of the North is, I mean, we talked about that a little bit as well. It's kind of like an open world, like artsy style game. You play as a spirit fox thing. I know I'm doing a bad job describing it, but that's what it is. It looks weird. That's coming out on PS5. It's already out on PS4 and Xbox, and I think Switch too, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I think so.
And God, that is it for our show. I know the Game Awards took up a lot of our time, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with us while we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was fun, man. Anything else you want to add? Any last minute little tidbits?
I have Luna. I have Amazon Luna. I didn't say that before, but I have Amazon Luna. So I'm probably gonna break that out and show that off on Monday.
Cool.
Just check out. It already has a better selection of games than Stadia. So I just looked at it briefly, and yeah, I'm like, yeah, this has some stuff on it. So if you're interested in seeing what Luna is all about, we'll check that out on Monday.
That'd be cool. Have you tried I know you tried Stadia. Have you tried Xbox the X Cloud yet?
No, because they don't. They've teased a PC client for that.
Oh, it's only
So
on Android right now?
yeah. So whenever it comes out on
That sucks.
PC, I'll try it.
Oh, that sucks. All right.
I mean, I can put it on my phone, but I don't have any way to capture that. So
Yeah. No, I hear
um, yeah. So yeah, that's gonna do it.
you. Yeah, man, that's the show. Thank you again for having me. I love being on here.
Yeah. Gameoverse.com/podcast, Gameoverse.com/YouTube, Gameoverse.com/Twitch, Gameoverse.com/Extra Life, still going on till the end of the year. So if you guys want to contribute to Extra Life, save some kids, help some kids out, Gameoverse.com/Extra Life, Gameoverse.com/Nugget Extra Life. I don't know if Nugget's got any donations. It would mean a lot to her. Well, yeah. Well, she didn't do a marathon like I did. She just made a link.
Yeah.
But I'm pushing the link. So, Gameverse.com/Nugget, guys. Get some donations out there. You got until the end of the year. So yeah, Luna Monday. I'm also gonna check out more Bugsnax. I know I didn't stream a lot this week because I was just fucking out of it.
That's fine.
I could not, man. So.
You did a 24-hour marathon stream, dude. You deserve to take a break for a little bit.
Yeah. So we'll be back on it next week. Yeah. So that's going to do it. Thanks.
Thank you.